Are you visualising?
To me, if you're batting or standing in your batting stance, but without a bowler at one end, without a wicket keeper behind you, without anybody chatting in your ears, well, how's that going to help you? I've no idea. Genuinely no idea.
Absolutely. I think we're needing a Nottinghamshire captain, aren't we?
Yeah, we do seem to be. We do seem to be without a Nottinghamshire captain at the moment. You're absolutely right. I've no idea why. What we have here are the two umpires and the match referee and the Derbyshire captain. So we need somebody in a green top from somewhere. But at the moment, absolutely no sign of him. No sign.
Why don't
of
you
him
pretend to be?
I don't, this is madness, isn't it? It's interesting because we always say, well, the toss takes place half an hour before the start of the game. Nothing in the laws that say it has to. It could take place 10 minutes before you start, but it's just become a tradition, I suppose, that you have the toss 10 minutes before things get underway. I've got a young man here who looks very excited to be here. Now he's got very shy because I've mentioned him. Looking at this big bloke with a microphone in his hand. This is slightly extraordinary, isn't it, really?
It is.
But
Everyone's ready.
I mean, I don't know how many people can hear what I'm saying out here because I've got the headphones on and everything, but big time. Here they come. Here comes the Clark, the Nottinghamshire captain, Outlaws, call them what you want, and we call them all sorts here, off air, just shaking hands with the two umpires. And nobody wants to see Nottinghamshire, do they? Really. Most of the crowd are coming tonight to watch Derbyshire play some cricket and hopefully win for the second time in a row here at the county ground, the Central Court. It's Nottinghamshire, so they're just being told now the rules. This always makes me laugh as well, but this kind of thing takes place behind closed doors, doesn't it? At football, usually the captains are called together and the referee says, well, you can do this and you can't do that, and if you start rolling around on the floor, I'll let you get away with it the first 5 times, but then you might get...
Is that right, John?
You might get a...
And nobody takes an inch of notice any time, Dave.
Exactly, and I don't think either Samit or Joe Clark are interested either, to be brutally honest. They just want to get on with a game of cricket. But it's quite weird, isn't it? Because in football, of course, the teams come out and then you have the toss, then you get on with it. I suppose the toss is slightly more important in cricket because you are either going to do one discipline or the other, but it has always made me laugh that this is how it works.
What are you going for, Dave? Heads or tails?
Yeah, tails, I think. It's gone up. Head's called. It's come down. Something. Well, nobody said anything. Comes down ahead, and therefore, presumably, yes. Joe Clark. There we go. Notts are going to have a bowl. That was an absolute shambles. All you've got to do is throw a coin in the air, call heads or tails, and somebody looks at it. It looked like a head from where I was standing, and my eyes are awful. But,
Says the cricket commentator.
It was pitiful, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Absolutely pitiful. But there we go. We've managed to get through it. So Derbyshire lose the... What was the outcome of the toss? I can't remember now.
Derbyshire won and they're going to bowl.
No, they didn't.
No, Nottinghamshire won and they're going to bowl.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to bat and somebody's going to bowl.
Derbyshire...
Lots of bowling.
Derbyshire have been put into bat.
Yeah.
Yes. Right. Is that how it works?
I think so.
Excellent. We did have an announcer here once who went to one captain who'd won the toss. He said, what are you going to do? He said, well, we're going to have a bat. And he went to the other captain and said, what are you going to do? He said, well, we're going to have a bowl, as it turns out.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Who was that?
I can't tell you. But it has happened here.
That is
In
funny.
the past. Funny, and at the same time, slightly sad. Slightly sad. But yeah, it did happen.
I love
once
that.
upon a time.
That is brilliant.
Lots of people still milling about. Now, Samit's gone across to do his interview over the public address system, as it's known. I've just been asked to go forward.
Oh. Yeah, so it doesn't have to waste energy to move away from...
Exactly.
All the sponsorship people are making their way off the pitch away to our left, and they better be careful because they might get pinged by a ball being thrown over the stumps.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Michael Gough currently speaking to Neil Godrich, the groundsman. Said, well, they both got similar haircuts. They might be discussing which barber they go to.
Do you know what? It's good to see that London double-decker bus back here. Now you know
like
it's
that,
an
don't
evening.
you?
I
You like
really
that.
do.
You know what they sell there?
I do, yeah. Something that we can't have until 10 o'clock. Yeah.
Indeed. Or even
Just imagine that as a business, though. You just buy an old London double-decker bus, put a bar in it, and take it to events. Brilliant. Absolutely.
sounds like a job to me.
It does, doesn't it?
I might look into that.
We've already got more people in the ground, Dave, than we had the other night, haven't we?
Wasn't it quiet as well?
It was odd.
Really quiet.
It was quite odd, wasn't it?
It was horrible. You could hear a pin drop most of the time, and it was a decent game of cricket. I don't think we should forget that. It was a really good game of cricket. Samit's just looking. Give me the side eye there, Samit. Samit, lost the toss. You're going to bat first. I think I couldn't work it all out because it seems slightly bizarre. Happy with that?
Yeah, not a bad thing at all. I was going to bowl, but it's not a bad thing at all. We can get runs on the board, put some pressure on the technique.
You said fine margins the other night, and it was, when you look back, the first two games have been fine margins. It's just a matter of just tweaking everything.
Absolutely. We come together as a squad. We stay tight. We've said that all along. There's been no moaning. The boys have been great, good attitude, and everything put on a good show tonight and play some really, really good cricket. And that's my message, is that it's just another game of cricket. Yes, it's a rival derby, but if we go about it as if it's just another game of cricket, then let the basics do the work.
Two more. You said the other night that the pitch doesn't change. Will it not have changed again because it's still the same pitch?
No, they don't change too much here, to be honest. They stay good, they stay flat, high scoring. Even if you get to a slow start, you know you can catch up at the end.
And I think it's one change tonight. Is it Zach's not made it tonight with a niggle, and Brooke Guest has come in?
Yeah, Zach's missed out, unfortunately. He got a niggle, hip flexor, and Guesty's been playing well in the twos and deserves his chance.
Will he keep wicket?
He is going to keep wicket.
Thank you very much. Samit Patel, so there we go, exactly as we thought, Ed. The change is one change. Zach Chappell misses out because, we didn't know it was a hip flexor. I don't even know what a hip flexor is, so we'll leave that to the experts. And in comes Brooke Guest, and he is going to keep wicket, and I think that's good. I really do think that's good, because they now have a specialist wicket keeper heaping to a mystery spinner.
Yeah.
I was told something before. He's played 4 matches, and it's not his fault, Aaron Donald. He's the only wicketkeeper in Derbyshire's history who has been the official wicketkeeper who has yet to take a catch.
Wow.
I don't think he's had many to take, but it tells its own story.
Great stuff. Dave, you make your way back up here and we'll have a chat further with John. John, what's a hip flexor?
I'm not sure I've got two of them left anyway, but yeah, it's just the muscle that will connect you up to your thigh, I think. It can get quite sore.
Yeah.
And once it stiffens up, there's not really a lot you can do with it. You certainly can't be out there fielding anyway.
Well, we'll see. And Aaron Donald, of course, lots of pressure on him this evening when he opens the batting. So we'll talk to Dave about that in a moment. So it wasn't to be here on Wednesday night against Northants, but they gave it a really good go. Have you got your stuff yet? Go for it, mate.
On his site. So, I mean, as I said, it's a no-brainer. What he and Pat Lyons and John Brayford and the rest of the management team, the coaching team did was, I was going to say nothing short of miraculous. It was miraculous.
It was.
Because, I mean, I went on the radio with you, I went on the radio with Dom. What about, but well, no, they're down. They can't, nobody survives this. This is, I mean, they were helped a little bit by Bristol Rovers being utterly hopeless in the last half of the season, and I think they would probably agree with that. But they still had to take advantage of that, and slowly but surely, the number of teams they could catch disappeared because teams did find some form. But fortunately, they had Bristol Rovers in their sights, and we all know what happened in the end. And it was fantastic, and they're going to be in League One for another season, which I still think is punching above their weight.
Burton's new sporting director Richard Dorman said we've all seen the impact that he's had on not just the squad but around the entire club. And John, you obviously worked with Gary, inherited Gary for the second half of the season. What impact has he had?
In terms of Gary, what I would say, he galvanised the place. Truthfully, the place was at a low ebb. I think there's no getting away from that fact, and from all the excitement that happened in the summer to not win for the majority of the first games, and then when Gary came in and saw the job he had on his hands, and he didn't shy away from it really, because listen, I've met a lot of people in football, and he's right up there in terms of being a proper bloke and a proper football person, and getting people on side to work for you, which is massive. If you're the manager of a football club and people don't want to play for you, then you ain't going very far at the end of the day. And got people playing, running hard, working and working as a team, really. I think ultimately that's what got us over the line. And talk about surviving relegation, we actually did it with a game to spare at the same time, which is even more miraculous when you saw how perilous our position was come January. But for him to sign a new contract for the next couple of years, like you touched on, it not only gives stability, it gives people something to believe in for the fans, because they've seen the impact that he's had on the football club, and not just on the pitch, away from the pitch at the same time, really. And that just comes from his mannerism and how he is as a person, not just a football manager.
It was interesting. You mentioned the fans there, and I know it's the players and the coaching staff, but you need the supporters as a club, especially as a club like Burton Albion. I remember them playing at Charlton Athletic on a Tuesday night. There were less than 1,700 people there. It was dead.
You have to.
The connection came back, didn't it? That connection. And Aaron Webster, who always sits alongside me on match days, had been at the club for a long, long time, and he was desperate for that connection to come back, because it had to.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think you can talk and do all the things surrounding the football club, and ultimately football fans of that football club want to win football matches, and you aren't going to get people on side unless you win football matches. And I think the first 5-6 games we didn't win. I think then we won at Wigan away, and then we won 3 games in a week, and it didn't bring full belief back, but it was like, well, we've got a chance here. We can win football matches, and you just drip feed that to the fans, and it's like people start believing. They don't start believing after the first day, because with all good intentions, you could have put any manager in that position and they would have said the same thing about, right, we want to survive, but to go and actually do it and get people to believe in that and turn up week in, week out, because ultimately, if you saw the last few games of the season, the place was rocking, and that's what got us over the line, really. And we talked about cliches before, but they were like a 12th man. If you looked at the Cambridge game, it was incredible atmosphere.
Because everybody knows, and all the tables say, that not necessarily last summer, but small budgets, small crowds, the ground is small. Everything about Burton is small.
Yeah.
Well, you just have to live
to make the most of it. Yeah,
sure.
Oh, no question. And well, I always say that Burton Albion very much is a non-league side that is playing in the Football League and doing an unbelievable job to stay where they are. The Championship was fantastic for 2 seasons, but I mean that's a long way off now. But to stay in League One is almost as big an achievement for me as for a club like Burton Albion, because if they're in League Two, they're not in the top half of sides' attendances and the rest of it. If they're in the National League, they're probably not in the top half. You look at the teams who've come up, and teams who didn't come up. York didn't come up. Oldham managed to make it up, but Southend didn't come up. And these are established football clubs.
You look at the attendance in the National League final, 52,000, and it's. But sometimes you can use that as your advantage. You use it motivation, whatever you want to do to. you can word those things whichever suits you, and I think you use it as motivation, really. Yes, we're not the biggest club, but yes, we might be punching above our weight at times, but use it to your advantage, really.
Good stuff. Well, it's good news, and we hope to have good news about yourself and Pat Lyons in the coming week as well, to keep the band together. And interesting summer at Burton Albion, just as it was last summer. It'd be nice to have.
And the summer before.
And the summer before.
It was probably the only club in League One that had a Manager of the Season award and had 3 candidates. Burton Albion last season.
Absolutely. Right, let's focus on what we're here for this evening. It is Derbyshire Falcons against the Notts Outlaws here at the County Ground. Derbyshire's 3rd T20 Blast encounter. Their 2nd this week. They play on Sunday as well, but it's time to start winning, Dave Fletcher, who will take it away with the teams. And also, we have Blair Tickner with us as well. Who's just sat looking very cash behind us. And I'll let him come and sit in position. Okay. Dave, take it away.
Thank you very much, Dawes. Yeah, the team's coming out. Nottinghamshire won the toss, and Derbyshire are batting first this evening. The 2 opening bats are coming out now. Donald and Caleb Jewell, who had that terrific knock on Wednesday night, sadly in vain in the end. Just one change for Derbyshire, and that sees the return to the T20 side of Brooke Guest, who is going to keep wicket. And the man who misses out due to a hip flex. I can't even say it. I don't even know what it means, obviously, but I can't even say it. But he's missing out anyway. So that's why there's no Zach Chappell in the side today. But Brooke Guest has been doing some pretty decent things with the 2s, with the bat especially, and he will keep wicket, which is interesting because I want to see where they put Nye Donald in the field, because he's still recovering from that collarbone injury that he suffered fielding out in front of the Players' Pavilion in the first red ball game of the season. Daniel Sams is going to be opening the bowling for the Outlaws. They're 2 men out. This is where Blair Tickner comes in. Are at square leg and at backward point, so it's fairly regulation. Blair, good evening to you.
Yeah, thanks for having me again. Just a normal field, wider 3rd man, obviously a slip in a short 3rd, so pretty normal, and 2 Australians versus each other.
Yes. Daniel Sams, who's been a stalwart of the Big Bash over the last few years, left armour. Into ball to Caleb Jewell, who gets a big bottom edge and picks up the first run of the evening as the ball goes out towards slightly short backward square leg, and from behind the stumps comes Tom Moores. I should introduce you two as well, haven't I, really?
Yeah.
Blair Tickner, John Brayford.
We did ourselves before.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. I work with John. Working with him might be over-egging it. He does the work, and I talk about how well or otherwise they're doing.
That's generous, Dave.
For Burton Albion, and Blair is on his way back to fitness. He told us.
Full run up today. So I'm back to it. Hopefully, back available next week. Have a weekend off, make sure it's all right.
Yes. It's Sam's then bowling to Nye Donald, who goes up on his toes and forces the ball to backward point where it's fielded by Jack Haynes. Losing, they're actually a bowler down tonight, Brad, because Zach Chappell's out and Brooke Guest is in. Puts a little bit more emphasis on the bowlers that are there, plus Martin Anderson possibly might get an extra couple of overs.
Yeah, I think we talked about it. We've obviously got lots of options with all-rounders. I think we've been bowling about 7 bowlers, so it just means that the 5 that are the mainline bowlers have to just bowl well, and obviously bowl their 4 there. But it's a pretty balanced team, I think. Extra batting, I think we can go a little bit harder, and it just gives a little bit of confidence that you've got a guy after you.
Guest can float around a bit, I fancy, as Sams is in again. Bowls to Donald, who gets his first run of the season, and that will be a huge weight off his mind as he goes to backward square leg, and there's no run. What's it like, John, if you're in a little bit of poor form, and sports people know they are, don't they? But you're still playing, and your coach / manager still has the faith in you. You just carry on going through the processes, I think is the modern phrase.
It's not easy, but I think you've done it for so long. You just have to go back to the basics sometimes, and never get away from your basics, and you strip it all back, and that's part of you really, and get back to what you've always been doing best.
2 without loss. Sams is into Jewell, who turns this one into the leg side, and they'll go through for another single. The man comes in off the square leg boundary to do the fielding. That is Freddie McCann, who's coming in off the boundary to do that bit of fielding. So 3 without loss with 2 balls of the first over to go. Northamptonshire playing at New Road, Worcester this evening. An earlier start, of course, with no lights at New Road. They've made 190 for 5 of Northamptonshire against Worcestershire. Leicestershire started at 6:30 at Grace Road against Durham. They're 81 for 2 after 7 overs. Here comes Sams again. Bowls, and Donald is, I thought he was going to get his first boundary of the season there, but he's only going to get a couple. He's coming back for the second. It was half stopped there by McCann, just diving to his right, but he does pick up 2 runs.
Yeah, I've obviously gone with a fine leg and deep square out for Donald. Has to bowl quite straight, otherwise he can slash it over that third man, but nearly got it through the gap. Obviously he goes quite hard at the top, so you're going to have some small scores, but he's just trying to throw the first punt for us, so hopefully he can come off tonight.
Last season he got 3 half centuries, including 2 of the equal fastest half centuries by a Derbyshire batter. But only one of those 3 half centuries, as this one is off the pad as he tries to turn it into the leg side, goes out into the off, and the first over comes to an end, 5 from it. And unfortunately, out of those 3 half centuries that he got Derbyshire off to a flyer at Headingley.
Yes, yeah,
in a game that that Derbyshire didn't quite get over the line because they couldn't seem to get Joe Root off the square in the second half. But when you big players, and it sort of happened on Wednesday night rather, when your big players get the big scores like Jewel did and like Samit did, you've sort of got to take advantage, haven't you? And that was probably the most disappointing aspect for me. Not 1 over goes for this, or a batter gets out for that. But if you've got 2 players who scored 2 of the highest scores in the game and you still don't win, that's the disappointment.
Yeah, obviously we would have probably taken 15 off the last over with a better and experienced batter in Samit. So it sometimes comes off, it sometimes doesn't. You can have a good death over and you not get those 15 runs, so you sort of peel it all back there and just look at how you got there, and we weren't far off. I just think obviously the power play for both teams was pretty bad batting, so 3 down for both.
Yes, that confounded me, I'm afraid. Here's Dylan Pennington from the racecourse and into bowl to Jewel. Oh, he's lifted that in the air. He's going to get caught down at deep backward square leg, and he is caught at deep backward square leg. Pennington strikes with his first delivery, and the man who got the big runs along with Samit Patel on Wednesday night goes, and Derbyshire are 5 for 1. Jewel goes for 2. That is disappointing. It's going to happen, but it's disappointing.
Yeah, a little bit of extra bounce there. Obviously used wicket, but it was bounced the other night. It just seems to kick up a little bit on him, and didn't want much to do with it. But
Matt Montgomery with the catch down in the deep. Dylan Pennington, who we know all about from his time at Worcestershire.
Seemed to come on in fast, didn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. I think sometimes they can hit the seam and climb a little bit on the batter. We saw extra bounce last game, so yeah, I think there's a little bit more to come. But at least we've got extra batting tonight, so hopefully we can play with a little bit of freedom still, even though we've lost a wicket early.
Certainly be hoping so. And there's a man who's just searching for a bit of form himself in the white ball game. It's early days, I know, but we all want instant success nowadays. But we both know that if you don't win your first game, then you don't win your second game. Well, it's almost catastrophic, isn't it? But it clearly isn't. David have got 14 at Grace Road, and Naught on Wednesday night. He faces his first delivery as Pennington is in, and he just pushes it straight back to the bowler, who looks at his hand as if to say, well, why didn't I stop that with my hand and pick it up? But he didn't. In one sense, it's nice to see Dylan Pennington out there, and in another, it's really not very nice to see him out there. But they've only got Daniel Sams, which means that their other overseas, whose name currently escapes me, isn't playing tonight. It's Moses Enriquez.
Yes, New South Wales.
Yeah, so it's good to see him not there, but here's Pennington again, bowling to Lloyd, who clips that into the leg side. They're going to go through for a quick single, quick-ish. The ball is hurled at the stumps by Sams. Lloyd is off the mark as well, which will delight him. 6 for 1. They also showed, Ravi Bopara showed it on Wednesday night, and to a large extent, Samit as well, is that you don't have to blaze from the start to get a decent score at a decent scoring rate, do you, in T20 cricket? There is more time than we imagine.
Yeah, I think it's getting the pace of the wicket really. Obviously, the boundary isn't too large here, square, so the extra bounce was hard to hit early on. So when you get the pace of the wicket right, I think it's easier to score later on. So the experienced guys showed it there.
Here comes Pennington to bowl to Donald, who slashes this away down to third man for a single. He moves on to 4-7 for one. Can you imagine, John, if you were given a pristine new ball to start a game of football with, and as the game went on, they just let a little bit of air out of it. It's almost like that, I suppose. It'd be almost impossible by the end, wouldn't it?
That would probably have suited me, though, Dave, to be honest. The older you get, yeah. But, yeah, I get what you're saying.
It's weird. It's weird, but it does. I mean, the ball does change. We only use one in T20, of course, unlike the 50-over game. Pennington's in. That one's dabbed down by Lloyd to short third man. He picks up his second run. And important that these two, if they're not blazing the ball to the boundary, which we all hope one or both will do at some point, they just pick up the singles as they go along. BBC Radio Derby at the Central Co-op County Ground this evening, which is a lot fuller than it was on Wednesday night. I can tell you clearly Northamptonshire aren't the draw that the Outlaws are. The big local derby, standing room only, as Pennington bowls, and that one is pushed straight back to him by Donald. And the second over comes to an end, so 3 runs off that one. 8 for 1 at the 2 overs. The atmosphere, I know you're not going to criticise supporters, so it's almost pointless me saying this, but it was a little bit quiet. Did you not think it was quite quiet?
I walked in from town, so we live on the other side. Me and Caleb live on the other side of Derby, so I walked in, and there was actually a good stream of people coming through from the pub, so felt like local walking through. So there was a few people still waiting at the gate, so hopefully it fills up. And
well, tonight, but it just seemed a bit quiet on Wednesday.
Yeah. School night. I know, no school at the moment.
It's full tonight, though.
Yeah,
Really?
it will be. It will be.
Crowd's brilliant.
The permanent temporary stand at the far end of the ground. Not many seats to be had there, or in the cupboard stand. A lot of standing around the far side as a new over from Conor McCurr begins, former Derbyshire man. 2 loan spells, Conor McCurr, from Surrey, if I'm not very much mistaken. In fact, he made his debut for Derbyshire, I think, against Notts at Trent Bridge. He's just lost one of his spikes there. They pick up a single. Lloyd moves on to 3, just flat batted the ball straight back towards the bowler, just past him. 9 for 1. Our umpires, I should mention, good to see Michael Goff. We haven't seen Goffey for a long time when he's been away with the international game, and Neil Pratt, who we seem to see every week. He's at square leg at the moment as McCurry's in, and that one is driven 4 runs. The first boundary, there we go. Listen to the crowd, and the placards start waving, and Nyron Donald picks up his first boundary. He moves on to 8, and Derbyshire up to 13 for 1. I suppose a relief in a way. He'll already feel a lot better about himself than Aaron Donald. Not the fact that he survived 2 balls without getting out, but I'm not going to put that to you, clearly. But the fact that he's got a bat on ball, he's got a boundary, he'll feel a lot better. I realised what I was saying to you when I started it. Now he's gone for the scoop, and he's caught at short third man. Now what's that come off? They're appealing. It's not much of an appeal, but it's going to go for overthrows here. There's going to be at least 2. There might even be 3. And they are going to come back for 3 overthrows. Well, that is quite a remarkable piece of cricket. It's gone leg byes, of course, because otherwise, if it had come off his bat, he'd have been out. The shy at the stumps was from the man down at short third man, just down below us, who doesn't appear to be on my team sheet, which is excellent news. And I can't read the gold lettering. Why have they got gold lettering? Goodness me. 16 for 1. Donald remains on 8. Lloyd has 3. The shy at the stumps missed, and 3 overthrows. And now Lloyd has driven that straight back down the ground. Goff did well, Michael Goff, to get out of the way of it. He's made a really, you could tell, couldn't you, John, the noise, the sound. Beautiful, isn't it? Incredible. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's a little bit over pitch there, and Lloyd has been in form. He's been hitting the ball well all year, so hopefully tonight's tonight.
He couldn't have got that much straighter if he tried, could he?
No, nearly got the umpire.
And he twigs in the back of the studio, studio. This is not a studio, this is a commentary box. 20 for 1. It's turning into a much better start for Derbyshire than we've seen in recent times, which is probably what they need.
Slip's coming out to a mid-wicket, so you're dominating the over now, so hopefully we can finish it well.
This is 4 down to a very fine third man, is that what we're saying?
Hopefully.
McCurr is in and he drives it straight to the man at mid-on, and they don't go through for a run, but 12 off that over, including rather brilliantly. There's still one to go. How did that happen? I do that a lot. Have you noticed I do that quite a lot?
Yeah, sometimes the scoreboard updates really fast. Sometimes
The ability to count to 6 is
2 games in a week as well, so
yes, good shout. Good shout.
late night.
Yeah. I won't tell you what time I got home on the M6 was shut. Terrific. Here comes McCurr to bowl the final ball of the over, and that one is slashed away down to the man at short, a backward point, and, well, David Lloyd has found another way, I'm afraid, to get out. That is a remarkable catch down there in the distance. Freddie McCann diving forward. The ball was struck beautifully by Lloyd, and he looks to the sky. The lad can't catch a break, and Derbyshire are now 2 down, 20 for 2. I rather wish it had been the last ball of the over, the previous delivery, but that was a decent catch.
Decent catch, and he's again struck the ball very well and been caught. It seems like it's been like that for the start of the season in 4-day cricket and the start of the blast. So it will come for Lloyd. I know it will. He's a good batter, so yeah, a bit hard to see. But
He couldn't have picked him out any better if he tried, could he? On the contrary, he hit it with that so much force.
But he's been finding, I mean, he's been hitting the ball, as Blair said, he's been hitting the ball beautifully this season, but he's been finding ways to get out and hitting fielders who you think, well, surely you could have missed him out.
To be fair, he's an excellent catcher.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And if Conor McCurr wasn't such a nice bloke, I'd be really angry with him, but I can't be really. I like Conor. Not quite as tattooed as some people.
yeah, I hide mine.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
It's remarkable. When I tell people how tattooed you are, they go, well, I never saw any now. So wait till he
I don't walk around with
wait till he
just my
puts his
top
shorts
out
on.
there,
Yeah, wait till he puts his shorts on and then just changes his shirt. Here's Dylan Pennington bowling to an Aaron Donald who lifts this out into the leg side. There is a fielder out there, but the ball's going to reach the boundary on the full and go away for 6 in front of the covered stand. The first maximum of the night, 26 for 2. I was slightly concerned as Twiggy raises his 6 card. If the batter then tells you to sit down, because you're right behind the bowler's arm here, we'll know why there's been a delay. But yeah, that was a terrific shot from 9 Donald. I did have my heart in my mouth momentarily. 14 off 9 he has now, 26 for 2, and Pennington's on his way in again, and this time he's launched again, and that's 6 more. That's bigger. That is hitting the scoreboard. It disturbed a crow who was just nestling quite nicely on top of it and bounced down, and it's back-to-back 6s for 9 Donald. He's back. Now he's back.
Yeah, he is. Pressure on the bowl now, 2 balls gone. Yeah, we know that he's not going to stop as well. He's not going to be happy with 2, so it's going to be exciting over.
32 for 2. There were 12 off the previous over. There have been... No, see, I can't do that, Matt. That's embarrassing. 12 off this over. I should be able to do 2 6s, shouldn't I? Really?
It shows when you get used to the bounce on the wicket, you can hit square. I just think very early on in the innings, it's still hard to find the pace of it. But he's showing that he seems to have the pace of the wicket now, so hopefully he keeps going.
6 off and over, eh? Here comes Pennington in again and bowls to Donald, who clips this. That sounded nice off the bat as well, and that's 4 more. The fielder out there can't get anywhere near it, Calvin Harrison.
He moved a little bit further behind square there, deep backward, and he's gone the other side of him, so good batting.
Just talking to one or two, I'm talking to people about, should there be changes? They've lost the first 2. They've lost the first 2 by very, very small margins. No, Donald, hadn't scored any runs, but we know what he can do. He's got 24 off 11 now, 36 for 2 Derbyshire. Pennington bowls, and that's wide of the off stump, and he has a big swing at it and misses it.
He's gone another leg side fielder out there, and he double bluffed with the outside off slow ball with no one outside of there.
I bet me and you could have played that shot though, John. I can do that. Swing the bat and miss the ball.
I can definitely miss it, Dave. That's like, not sure about the 2 6 in the 4 prior, though.
No, I wasn't suggesting that. Well, certainly not me. Everybody knows not me. The man next to me's got fairly long levers. As Pennington is in again, and that one is just slightly leading edgish back towards Pennington, who's come back quite nicely from being hit for 2 sixes under 4 with a couple of dot balls. But the damage in the over pretty much done. Derbyshire. See, I've got these are my notes here. They're not very good, by the way.
Research.
No, these are things that have happened while I've been watching. 37 for 3 at the end of the power play on. No, that was the other team. Here comes Pennington again, and he goes back, gives himself some room. That might go all the way for 6, out to the cover boundary. It does. Wow. He's got hold of that one as Nye Donald, and he's cleared the rope up towards the players' pavilion away to our left-hand side. That was possibly the most impressive of the shots. He's helped the other 2, but he's had to put all the effort into that one, Blair, to get it over the cover
he's
boundary.
Obviously got himself outside leg stump to exit the offside. He's got no one back there, so very good batting there. He tried to do it a couple of balls before, and he got that one, so good over for Derbyshire.
22 from it.
Thank you, John.
I thought you were struggling with the maths that day.
I forgot about that 4, so I thought...
You're not wrong. You're not wrong about me struggling. They brought Daniel Sams back for over number 5 from the City end, and he's bowling to Wayne Manson, who hasn't faced a delivery yet, and he just pushes that one up towards mid-off, and there is no run. It seems wrong to see a not side out there without Stephen Mullaney. He's part of the coaching staff now, which is good to see that he's still in the game, of course. Good old Lee boy, but it is weird not to see him out there. Equally, it's strange not to see somebody like Samit Patel out there playing for Nottinghamshire. I'm just delighted that he's playing for Derbyshire. That's Lyndon James, isn't it, down below us? Yeah, he's got 45 next to his name on my list as Sams is in again. That strikes Wayne Madsen. Bit high. What we can do is, that's real time now. Look at this. This is technology at its finest here. We were putting this in this morning with the wires everywhere, and there was dust coming out and asbestos everywhere. It was horrible. So we probably won't be able to tell, really, because the camera's quite low. It's too high.
Outside leg as well.
So
Not much swing, yeah.
Apart from that, though.
Apart from that, and height, very good.
You'd have been up there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, run through. I wouldn't have looked back at the umpire.
We all love a celeb appeal. 43 for 2. They got to 39 for 4 against Leicestershire. Oh my word! Nye Donald has absolutely creamed that, and that's gone right to the back of the grandstand seats. That is a long boundary. The boundary is 30 yards in from the advertising boards, and then there are all the seats. Well, it went beyond the rope, beyond the advertising boards, and beyond the seats. That was enormous from Nye Donald, who moves to 36 off 15. Blimey.
I think there's going to be a few opportunities to catch it in the crowd tonight. He's hitting the ball well, so hopefully that's more to come.
Wow, he's moved to 36 off 15, so he's not going to trouble his fastest 50, but he's going pretty well as Sams comes in and bowls to him. And he's lifted that down the ground. I thought for a moment he clossed it, and he did sort of cloth it, and he's clossed it for 3, I fancy, because it's been well kept in there in the far distance by Conor McKerr. They do get back for 3. And Derbyshire move on beyond 50. 52 for 2, and we're only in the 5th over. Partnership is 32, and Wayne Madsen's faced 2 balls and hasn't scored a run yet. You don't see that very often. The 32 partnership, Wayne Madsen, none off 2. He's got the opportunity to score a run here. He won't be bothered. And Sams is in again too, and he turns that into the leg side, gets his first run, just clips it nicely towards the square leg umpire, and things all calm down again. 53 for 2. Derbyshire have lost. Well, they lost the power play at Leicester by a considerable distance. Derbyshire making 39 for 4, and then Leicestershire making 86 for 1. It was fairly even Stevens on Wednesday night. Northants made 37 for 3. Derbyshire were 38 for 3, which confounded me, of course, because we all know that if you lose 3 wickets in the power play, you can't win a game of cricket, but they both did. Sams is in to bowl to Nye Donald, who goes for a swing and misses it, and it goes through to the keeper. 53 for 2, 11 runs off that over. 1 over of power play to come. Oh, this is all right, this.
Going all right. He didn't hold back after losing a wicket with Lloyd, and then he just kept hitting. So it's nice to see. He's obviously got confidence in guys below him. There's a lot of batting there. So we didn't even have Martin Anderson bat the other night. So,
No.
And we know how he can strike it. So I think it just frees up all the guys and can have a little bit of fun.
It's the equivalent, I would say, John, of going 2-0 up early.
Yeah.
You think, well, this is nice, this, but you know, don't you? In the back of your mind, even sitting with the rest of the coaches, if we concede one here,
Dangerous place to be.
horrible scoreline, 2-0. Horrible scoreline, 53 for 2 after 5 overs. Conor McCurr to bowl his second over from the racecourse and into bowl to Madsen, who chops that one into the ground, and Donald calls him through for the single. McCurr is almost reaching the veteran stage of his career now, remarkably. I mean, he was quite a young man when he came up from Surrey the first time.
How old's
I know.
age? Just asking for
Yes, I'm slightly concerned. I'm going to have to look it up.
I wouldn't like to see what you used to call me, Dave.
Experienced. Experienced. Conor McCurr is on his way in again. He's 27. This one is a slower ball. It was very loopy. He's not quite a veteran. And Donald couldn't get hold of it. Yeah, 27. He's in the prime of his... He hasn't reached the prime of his life yet, has he?
No.
I didn't realise he was that young.
And
Blimey.
you've called him a veteran.
Yeah, that means I don't know what I am now. 1 year off retirement.
I hope to look up how old he was when he came the first time to Derbyshire. It certainly made an impact. 54 for 2. Donald waits and launches this out towards extra cover for 6. My word. That one's bounced just inside the advertising boards, but it's a big hit out there, away to our left-hand side into the offside. Another huge blow from Nye Donald, who moves to 45.
Yeah, he's a hard player to bowl to. Obviously, he's got no one out on the offside, and he doesn't mind giving himself room. And then also on the leg side, he doesn't really care that he's a fielder out there because he's going to try to hit it over them. So
He's been in the gym this week, hasn't he?
yeah.
Yeah.
He's not just clipping it over the rope, is he?
No.
It's going a long way.
Yeah.
And the ones into the offside, you've got to put something into
Yeah.
it as well to get it out there, which is it's just great to see him hit some form. If one game's form, I'm going to call it form. 60 for 2. McCurr is in, and that's a slower ball, and it's driven for 4. He waited for it that time, possibly even expecting a slower delivery, and it loops. Conor McCurr's slower ball doesn't follow the same trajectory. Yeah, really loopy, John, aren't they? Really loopy. And as long as as a batter you can sort of hold your position and wait for it.
Yeah, obviously he has to bowl either into the wicket at the hip to get hit out to his sweepers on the leg side. If he gives any width there, he's going to throw his hands through it. So the slow ball is just a bit over the pitch and outs it off.
64 for 2, 2 balls of the power play to go. And Donald is on 49. He's in now and bowls, and he clips that up to mid-on, and it's a half-century for Nye Donald. And that will be a huge weight off Nyron Donald's mind. 21 balls, 2 4s and 5 6s. And those 6s were not small ones. That has been a terrific innings from Nye Donald. It's good to have him back. He's 4th 50, therefore, I'm fairly certain, for Derbyshire, because he certainly hit 3 last year. My research doesn't quite go to that kind of thing. It's easier in the county championship when it's a nice, much slower pace, and you can look things up and you can have a chat. Here's McCurr into Madsen, who just defends that one. He thinks about it. He does that thing that Wayne Madsen does, and he sort of creeps towards his batting partner. 65 for 2 at the end of the power play. I'm most delighted about the 2 bit. 65's not bad either, and this has been a decent enough start from Derbyshire against the old enemy, who they beat for the first time in 10 years last season in T20 here. And I can't tell you how pleased I was, because I'd watched them lose for 10 years. And they should have won at Trent Bridge, in all honesty, but it just didn't quite go their way in the end. We're going to see some spin. Liam Patterson-White. This is quite formulaic, isn't it? Get out of the power play, get your spinner on. Left arm around the wicket, bowls to Donald, who smashes him down the ground. He's going to get caught. He didn't get all of it, and he is caught out at long off, and that's disappointing. First ball out of the power play. It might be formulaic, but it's worked. And Aaron Donald goes for 50 of 22 deliveries.
Yeah, he was obviously trying to make the bowler not settle straight away running down the wicket and didn't get all of it. So that's the way he plays. So that's part of his game. So can't be disappointed about that. But it's got Derbyshire off to a flyer. So
That Freddie McCann's starting to get annoying though, isn't he? That's his second catch. We now have a man who is a pretty decent player of spin coming out. A man who knows this Nottinghamshire Outlaws side like the back of his hand. It's Derbyshire skipper Samit Patel, who I spoke to after they beat the Outlaws here last season, and boy was he happy. I thought he might be slightly subdued, having beaten his old side. He's not really a subdued kind of person, is he, Samit?
no, I think he's ready for this game again. I think he puts it on his calendar and he's pretty fired up as well tonight. So hopefully he can pull us across the line again.
Of course, he knew all the stats about how many times Derbyshire had not beaten Notts, because he'd been in the Notts side that was beating them. Patterson White then, second ball, wicket with his first, bowls to Samit, who just taps that into the ground. And before people start saying, well, why is he not smashing it to all parts? He didn't smash it to all parts at the start of his innings on Wednesday night either. He still went on to score a few, so nobody need panic. And this time he does the same, defends it, back to Patterson White. Left arm spinner to left arm spinner, if Samit spins it, and if Patterson White spins it. I'm not sure either of them do or will do on this pitch too far. Gazanfar probably will. He's off the mark now with a ball that he just tucks off his hip down towards deep backward square leg, where it's picked up by Calvin Harrison. We'll see him with the ball as well, I'm sure, fairly soon. Been on loan at Northamptonshire in the red ball stuff. Calvin Harrison played in the game here at Central Co-op County Ground, before it was even called that, earlier in the season in the County Championship. 66 for 3, Patterson White in again, and Madsen goes back and clips another good player of spin, of course, plays the ball up towards straightish mid-wicket. Looks like Daniel Sams from this distance. Stand to be corrected, of course. Gold, I think it's just a bit pretentious, isn't it, really, gold numbers? Just me, then. As hits the pad of Samit Patel and dribbles out into the offside. The over comes to an end, and a good one, just 2 runs from it. 67 for 3 now. The best of the overs from a Notts Outlaws point of view. But I'd still settle for 67 for 3 at this point, yeah?
Yeah, I think obviously last game as well, the spinners were hard to get away, got wickets, so I think spin to win tonight again, but hard to know when to go now. We've got a lot of batting, so they'll just be trying to get themselves in and then set it up for the death, I think.
Have we seen Gazanfar in the nets with the bat?
Personally, I haven't.
No, I mean, I really want to see him, but I also don't want to see him.
Yeah.
But,
well, you love watching me bat, I heard.
I love watching you. I love watching you bat. Yeah.
All about the entertainment.
Yeah. Lots of bat waving and applauding the bowler for bowling the bouncer at you. I love all that. Here's Conor McCurr into bowl to Wayne Madsen, who just guides that one to backward point. And there is no run. Just a little hush now. The fireworks of an Aaron Donald with his 50 off 22 have entertained the crowd at the start. I wouldn't be surprised to hear that damn bugle anytime soon to try and gee everybody up. It doesn't work anymore. We all know it doesn't work anymore, but we persist with it. I've no idea why. As Madsen waits, in goes McCurr, and that one is slashed down to a third man. Ooh, bounces just inside the rope, I think. You've gone 6, have you?
6, wasn't it?
I've gone 4.
I've got my glasses on.
Well, so have I, but they don't mind, don't help me. The umpires are coming together now. They didn't get much indication from the crowd. They're saying, well, I don't know, so you're going to have to give it as 4. I think Neil
Here
Pratt.
we go, replay.
Oh, excellent.
On the road.
I think it bounced on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4
Give
runs
it
is
a 4.
6.
There we go.
Yeah. Can't beat the old commentator. I was guessing. It looked like 4 from here, I have to say, but I do bow to the younger eyes of my 2 colleagues next to me. 71 for 3. McKerr is in again, and that was just played off his hip again by Wayne Madsen into the leg side for a single. It's McKerr's 3rd over already, so he won't be far from being bowled out. 2.5 overs, 1 for 26. Pennington took a bit of tap, 2 overs for 25, but did pick up the wicket of Caleb Jewell early on.
Same sort of feel as the other night, really. They've got mid-on, mid-off up, so hitting it hard into the wicket again.
We saw Samit play some pretty good strikes.
Yeah, he looks to back away a little bit and slash over point, but I think he'll get himself in first.
Oh, yeah, there we go. He's going to be out. Caught on the backward square leg boundary. He rather... It got him, didn't it? The short ball got him, and he sort of had to change the shot that he was planning on playing, and he's been caught out in the deep, and Conor McKerr picks up his 2nd wicket of the evening. That is a big blow. A really big blow. This looks like Martin Anderson to me. So it's too early, really, for Ross Whiteley. He's more of a finisher, isn't he, Ross? That looked like Martin Anderson. Samit goes for 1. They're 72 for 4.
Yeah, just seemed to kick up and beat him for pace a little bit there, but Martin Anderson's in great form, so hopefully tonight's his night.
You know, call that one, don't you? Freddie McCann. 3 catches for him now. He is getting right on my nerves. Dear, oh dear. But yeah, Martin Anderson comes in to join Wayne Madsen. Didn't get a bat on Wednesday night. When Derbyshire were 4 down, Ross Whiteley came in to try and finish off the job, and almost did. They scored plenty of runs, 40 odd off the last 3 overs, but it wasn't quite enough. Martin Anderson made 70 off 40 at Grace Road. He's facing his first delivery. It's Middlesex against Surrey. Oh, and he's played and missed at that one. Not sure what McKerr's done with that. I might have to ask an expert, because I've got no idea.
I think it was just a normal length ball, but it's just gone a little bit away. And
Yeah.
nothing too much there, but
Play and a miss. You don't see many plays and misses in T20 cricket.
we haven't tonight. It's been
No.
out of the middle of Donald's bat, really.
Anderson, plenty of time to work his way into his innings. Does that thing where he advances on the bowler and plays it around a fine leg. It drops before it reaches the fine leg fielder, but just for a moment his heart would have been in his mouth, I fancy. That is the last ball of the over. 73 for 4 at the end of it. 6 off that one. Key now is not to lose any wickets for the next 5 or 6 overs.
Yeah, obviously you're trying to set up a good score. We know that last game it was about 190, 200 was a good score, so you obviously want to keep wickets in hand for the death stage, but you don't want to take it too far and have to get a lot out of the last 5 overs, so they'll look to rebuild, but not too much rebuilding time because there's not that many overs to go.
Patterson White to continue from the city end. Anderson clips that one into the leg side. They're going to get 1. Picked up a wicket early in his first over. Liam Patterson White. Martin Anderson picks up his 2nd run, and Derbyshire moved to 74 for 4. It's always difficult to chat with anybody during an over of spin unless the ball is being fetched from the boundary. As Patterson White is into Madsen and pushes it into the leg side. They're going to get 1 more here. Fielded out there by Daniel Sams coming in off the mid-wicket boundary. Good to see the Falcons flag flying on the left-hand side of the members' pavilion away to our far left-hand side. As Patterson White is in. Anderson pushes this one up towards mid-on. The long-on has to come in and do the fielding on the edge of the circle. Single taken. Rotating the strike nicely. I think there was an extra bar or 2 on the ground tonight as well, so that might boost the atmosphere in the second half. As this next delivery is turned again into the leg side by Wayne Madsen. Sams again does the fielding and a single is taken. 77 for 4. Madsen on to 10. Anderson has 3. These two just rebuilding after the loss of an Aaron Donald and Samit Patel in pretty short order as Patterson White bowls. He goes for the reverse sweep. I'm not sure Martin Anderson's got a reverse sweep in the locker. he got out at Cardiff in the red ball game. It was a terrific innings, don't get me wrong, but then he tried the reverse sweep there. I think all batters like to think they've got a reverse sweep, but the man at the other end has. This one strikes, he's bowled him. It's got through. I thought he'd hit his pad, but it's got through, and Anderson goes for 3, and Derbyshire have just got to be careful here because they're now 77 for 5, and we're only in the just at the end of the 9th over, and what was thrilling and exciting and all the rest of it when an Aaron Donald was blazing away, all of a sudden is slightly concerning as Ross Whiteley comes out to bat.
Will they just take a bit of a reset now? And
Yeah, I think he was even trying to reset there. He's gone down the wicket. I think he's just got him with the arm ball, but he's trying to hit that down just for a single, really. But yeah, rebuild. Last game we obviously saw it. Ravi and Samit, to an extent, gave himself time, and then at the death there was at least 10 runs, 12 runs and over. So these guys have played enough cricket, so I'm sure they'll take it hopefully deep into about the 15th over at least, and then they'll start the death stage.
2 veterans.
definitely 2 veterans.
Yeah.
Well, this time last year at the start of the T20 they would have batted together for the first time for 12 years after Ross went off to Worcestershire and Hampshire and all around the world. Conor McCur's going to bowl out here, 77 for 5, last over before the halfway stage, and they pick a single up off the first ball. Stop writing things down, that's not a good idea, is it? I better start writing some stuff in.
You're going to run out of paper there, Dave.
There we go, all up to date again. 78 for 5, and again it's just got a little bit quiet. There is a lot of people standing. I know people like to come on a Friday night, have a beer, stand and cheer and all the rest of it.
Yeah, there's a few hundred that are just sitting around the bar or standing around the bar. It's probably a good spot.
Do with a big screen out there or something, couldn't you, so that you could still watch the cricket. Just behind the dugouts. McCur is in again, and that one is turned into the leg side by Ross Whiteley for a single. 79 for 5 as Whiteley gets off the mark. First ball. The differences between football and cricket. I know you like them both, John, but cricket, it's an individual game played as a team sport, and it's really weird. Whereas if you're an individual in football, the team starts to diminish, whereas if you're a good individual in cricket, it can actually improve. This is an individual here, Wayne Madsen, who is playing his 201st game of cricket on this ground, which is quite remarkable. That one is turned into the leg side.
Yeah, touching on that, Dave, it improves the team and individual in football, but obviously you're all on the pitch at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So, being out there as a tour, you've got to do everything you can to help the team. It's the same principles, really, probably just done in a different format.
Yeah, the only bad thing is some days you have a bad day and then you look up at that big scoreboard and it's got none for 50 and you think, wish it was just more a team game.
Here goes McCur into bowl to Whiteley, chops the ball down into the ground out. Just backward of square on the offside, and Wayne Madsen says no. Ross Whiteley fancied a single then. He sort of turned his back on Wayne there. That's an interesting thing to do. Madsen, of course, the red ball skipper, but Samit is the skipper of the T20 side. It's going to be fascinating to see who skippers the 50 over competition, because Samit won't be here and Wayne won't be here. Ross Whiteley won't be here, maybe fewer won't be here. In goes McCur again, or it strikes him on the pad. There's a big appeal. Yeah, pitching outside leg. He'll go through for a leg by. I knew that. 81 for 5. Or 80. 81 for 5. There we go. It's clocked up on the scoreboard. You'll do well to bring a white ball back enough.
Now, yeah. Well, after
at this
Donald had a
stage.
few 5-6s into the crowd, I think you won't be swinging too much.
No, I'd be lucky if it's still spherical. McCur turns at the top of his mark, runs away from us. Bowling from the racecourse end, bowls to Madsen, who gets one that really pops on him, and he actually deals with it quite nicely there. As the ball reared up at him, and he took one hand off the bat, managed to get it out into the offside. End of the over, just 4 from it. 81 for 5, and Conor McCur finishes with 4 overs, 2 for 30, which is a pretty decent effort, as he went for 12 in his first and 12 in his second. He's come back nicely, Conor McKerr, but that was a nasty one.
Yeah,
There's been a few where it's really bounced up, hasn't it? It's like Samit's where he's got out to it.
Yeah, and also Caleb Jewell early on. Just seems like a very hard length. If you really hit the wicket hard, it's a little bit there, up and down. So hopefully we can do that when we bowl.
Well, you'd think that Pat Brown would be able to extract something from this pitch, wouldn't you? Ben Aitchison, who still making his way back to fitness, really. It's remarkable that he's even playing cricket, the lad. All that metal work, as Liam Patterson-White begins a new over to Ross Whiteley, turns it into the leg side, where it's fielded down to our right-hand side by Freddie McCann, who's everywhere. Picked up 3 catches already this evening, McCann. Seems unfair, really. Talk about it being a team game. Been at the centre of everything. Actually, no. And Aaron Donald has been changed. Not McCann. Conor McKerr took the wicket. The catch, rather. So I'll stop talking about that for a bit until he catches another one. Patterson-White in again. Madsen goes back into his crease. Places it nicely, but Sams can get round to do the fielding. And hurls the ball back in. Madsen moves to 13, 83 for 5. Dark clouds to the south, but I'm going to get through this one uninterrupted. There was quite a heavy shower during the women's game earlier that they played through. As Patterson-White bowls to Whiteley, turns that one into the leg side. Notts women winning that one against Essex. Or the Blaze, as they like to be called for no apparent reason.
New Zealand are coaching the old Blaze.
Yeah?
Yep. Otago. Did you not see?
No. I did watch some of the game. This one's turned by Madsen up towards long on.
Craig Cummins.
Okay. For a single, 85 for 5. Well, I know I've worked with 2 of the women from the Blaze. And unfortunately, Grace, I can't remember, I always get her surname wrong. It's like Bollinger. Anyway, I know her. I walk around.
You're not just thinking the champagne, Dave.
I hope you know. Okay.
It's a good story.
Were you on the champagne?
I wish I was. Oh, Whiteley goes for the big swing and gets the bottom edge on that one out towards the mid-wicket boundary. She's great. Commentated with her in the past. 86 for 5 at the end of the over. 5 runs from that one. I had a walk around the boundary with Griff, and she was there, so we had a little chat. I asked her how it was going. She was having a chat, and I said, anyway, go well. Thank you very much. First ball of the match, she came in to run and pulled a hamstring. So she wasn't very happy with me as she limped her way around the boundary later on in the game. Bless her.
Not a nice injury to have, that one.
No.
Hamstrings and sides.
Yep, coming back from a hamstring injury myself, 5 centimetre tear, but seems to be going all right, so back into it.
You can play with a 5 centimetre one, can't you?
Yeah, almost, yeah. Well, I did. I did on the first day, and I think I walked off the field on the 4th.
Oh, Dylan Pennington started his run.
We still haven't had a 5th bowler tonight, so
No, that's interesting, that, isn't it?
obviously looking to take wickets and use them late.
Calvin Harrison will bowl at some point, but they're going to have to work it nicely as Pennington is in and bowls to Whiteley, who just pushes it. Really, he's trying to play an aggressive shot straight to Joe Clark, the skipper at mid-off. Yeah, just put a bit of a bandage around it, John, wouldn't you? 5 centimetre tear, get out there.
It's only a plaster, that one, Dave.
I thought so.
Bit stronger over here, bit tougher.
This one was in a cast. Here comes Paddington again. 86 for 5, bowling to Ross Whiteley, who just almost chops it on. He actually goes out to the offside. Then there's a ridiculous throw, and that's going to go for 4 overthrows. That's excellent for Derbyshire, not for Notts, but we are Radio Derby. So 5, the first 5 that we've seen. We saw, what did we see at Old Trafford? You were there, weren't you? We saw a 7.
We did.
A 7
helmet.
I've never seen a 7 before. I was very excited. 91 for 5. Whiteley actually picks up all of those runs as well, which doesn't seem massively fair. He moves on to a runner ball 9. I think it was Calvin Harrison who threw it. But it was a wild, wild throw. That's 7 overthrows we've seen in this game now. Madsen's decided to chop this one, making a bit of room for himself as he stepped into the leg side, down towards third man for a single. He moves on to 15, 92 for 5. Yes, I've seen the ball hit the helmet before. It doesn't happen very often anymore because they're quite often, the 12th man takes them off as soon as they're not required.
Yeah, especially in T20 cricket, it'll take it off, but obviously big job in 4-day cricket, so yeah, the 7 wasn't.
Loved a 7. Next delivery is a slower ball bouncer from Pennington that is turned around the corner and down to long leg, fine leg area by Ross Whiteley, who moves on to 10, 93 for 5. So 8 overs to go after this one. I still don't think 170 is enough on this particular surface. We're going to have to start thinking about what they want, but they have lost 5 wickets, which is slightly awkward. But there is still Buck Guest to come as the specialist batter, as that one is clipped away. He's going to keep wicket as well, obviously, but he certainly can bat. Madsen picks up another single down to long leg. I said to Samit the other night, and I've been banging on about it, I apologise. 180 was the new 160, but now 200 is almost the new 180. You see some of the scores, they are big. And I know grounds, dimensions and all the rest of it, but you've got to be looking to get as close to 200 as you possibly can, for my money, in a game of T20 cricket these days. 10 and over. Anyway, in comes Pennington and bowls. That strikes the pad. There's a big appeal from Pennington. It might have pitched outside the leg.
I'd say so,
Thank
yeah.
you very much. And the over comes to an end. 8 off it. 9 off it. 95 for 5. So you want the last 8 overs to be big overs, don't you, really? From now until the end, you've sort of got to go hard.
Yeah,
But that 5 is the concern.
The other night I talked about it, obviously 5 down, so that would mean for me go at the 15th over with 5 overs to go. So I'd still be taking it 5 overs, trying to go 7 or 8 and over, and then death stage. So obviously we've only got Buck Guest and then into the bowlers, so this is a massive partnership. The new bowler's on now though, and he's going to have to bowl 4 from this end to finish this out. So
He is, isn't he? Calvin Harrison from the City end with a permanent temporary stand behind him. And he's on his way into bowl to Ross Whiteley, who gets that very fine for 4 runs down to fine leg. Big swing, but decent enough.
yeah, it's obviously as a captain you're trying to take wickets, so 5 down, and you sort of go for the kill really, and obviously a bowler bowled out and now your new bowlers come on, so Ross will probably try to look to put him under pressure because he has to bowl 4 overs here. So
Worcestershire crumbling in that chase against Northamptonshire. Does that look like a throw? Harrison bowls to Whiteley, clips it into the leg side. That was a very strange action. Looked like he couldn't quite let go of the ball.
might have been a wrong one. Well, just gets in.
Is that difficult to come on at this stage to bowl straight through from here, though?
Yeah, in T20 cricket you don't really like to bowl too many overs straight just because you feel like they get a little bit of a read on you. Like I said, when you're taking wickets and a bowler was bowling well, you want to try to get the tail out there as soon as possible. So
That's some weights and turns this one into the leg side for a single.
we're hoping to obviously hold this partnership, and they're looking to take 2 wickets and then they're into the tail. So it goes both ways. But yeah, it will be a tough role if we can put pressure on them.
Worcestershire 94 for 5 in pursuit of 191. They need 2 a ball. As this next delivery is driven by Whiteley just for a single up towards long off. Run a ball with, well, they're still in the 13th over. That's quite a big ask. You would suggest, although New Road is a relatively quick scoring ground, relatively small. Leicestershire at 187 for 7 into the final over against Durham at Grace Road. As Harrison bowls again, that one is pulled into the leg side by Wayne Madsen. Out towards Daniel Sams for another single. He moves to 18, 103 for 5. Yorkshire 134 for 2 against Warwickshire at Edgbaston. They're in the 14 overs there. That'll give you all the scores during the interval, of course, as in comes Patel. Oh, my word, he smashed that one as Ross Wiley into the new little stand away to our right. I haven't christened them all yet. But the moved stand, Ross Whiteley got hold of that and absolutely smashed it. Quite a low trajectory, but no less effective for it. 109 for 5 at the end of the over, which means that there were 14 runs off that one. That would have been easy because he's only bowled one over and it says 14 next to his name. I still did the maths myself, though. I want everybody to know that. Whiteley moves on to 22. It's against Notts. Were you here for the T20 last season? I can't remember. I'd gone back by then. I thought you wasn't sure. What you should have said before when I talked about Headingley, but nothing to do with me. Ross Whiteley had a big game against Notts last year. New bowler, Lyndon James, comes in to bowl, and first ball is lifted into the offside out towards Daniel Sams by Wayne Madsen for a single. So they've brought on, this is unusual, isn't it?
They've got an extra bowler here, so obviously they can share the 4 overs, but
to have 2 bowlers coming on in overs 13 and 14 who haven't actually had a bowl, you almost don't feel part of it. Lyndon James will bat as well, clearly. Calvin Harrison, they will be hoping, doesn't bat. You almost don't feel part of the game until you've done your discipline that you're in the team to do.
You do like to bowl early, like every sport, get in the game early, obviously. Sam's going to have to bowl death, so he's going to hold his 2 overs, so these guys are going to have to bowl well through the middle.
James bowls to Whiteley, who pushes this one out into the offside. It's fielded by McCann. Getting 1 or 2 messages, Joe Shakic. Kiss of death on Donald. Well done, Joe. We'll be hearing from Joe, and in 2 days' time he'll be with us at Edgbaston this evening. It's John Brayford, the Burton Albion first-team coach, and Blair Tickner, the Derbyshire quick bowler. As James is in, and that one is thumped down the ground, but doesn't get past Clark. No, and if that one had hit, there would have been a run out as well. Madsen had set off for the single, and I think that Whiteley decided, well, he'd better carry on there, but the ball, fortunately, with the throw from Jack Haynes, didn't hit the stumps because he was gone for all money on that occasion. These things can happen in the heat of a T20. When you're looking for runs, 111 for 5 now. James halfway through his first over, he's only conceded 2. He'll be very happy with that. Madsen on strike and bats the ball straight into his foot. And there is no run. When are you back training, John?
We're back in 23rd of June.
Good
pre-season. Yeah, it's
all year round.
It's an early one this year because I think the season starts a week earlier.
Yes.
I'm not sure the reason behind that.
No, I haven't worked it out yet either. The Championship and Premier League start the week after, don't they? The Championship does, certainly. James is in, and Madsen, that one goes sort of over the leg stump, and he tries to help it on its way. I'm not sure whether did he catch something of it? Yes, I think he must have done, because there's no signal from the umpire. He picks up another single, moves to 20, 112 for 5. I was talking about playing year round.
Yeah.
Here's somebody who's doing that at the moment as well.
Oh, it's not as hard as football, obviously. But, 2 months off a year's all right, I think.
Chasing the sun to play cricket. Here's James in and bowls. That one is slapped into the offside by Whiteley. You'll have heard the ball come off his bat. He's a little bit annoyed he didn't get more of it. He moves to 24. And at the end of the over, 113 for 5. So just 4 runs off that one. It's a good start from Lyndon James. He'll be pleased. And therefore pleased for him. 6 overs to go. The current run rate is 8. The run rate needs to go up from 8 to give Derbyshire that fighting chance as Liam Patterson-White is back to bowl his final over. He's bowled 3 overs and taken 2 for 11. Feels about right. There's always a Nottinghamshire player who does something. Trying to see who that is walking off the field over there. It must be the substitute fielder because he's got 12 on his back. That doesn't mean he's a substitute. He's just not on my list. Patterson-White then around the wicket to Ross Whiteley. Who's that's gone past the bar and almost into the car park by the old scoreboard. Blimey. When Ross Whiteley hits a ball, it tends to stay hit. That's his second 6. He's only got 1 4. He's moved up to 30 119 for 5 now, and umpire Michael Goff just has a cursory look at the ball.
I think it's good.
Effortless.
Yeah, it's a good matchup for Ross here. Obviously, both spinners spinning the ball into him to that shorter side, I'd say. So, if it's shorter.
Patterson White again, and Whiteley pulls this time out to the man on the square leg boundary, who does the fielding comfortably enough, Freddie McCann. And they go through for a single. Whiteley moves to 31, 120 for 5. You're right though, John, it was effortless, wasn't it? If you get everything right.
The timing.
Yeah. Now Wayne's gone for the scoop, and I think he's hit the wicketkeeper with the ball. Moores, the ball did hit the wicketkeeper, but Wayne Madsen didn't. It's gone for a bye, and Moores was clouted somewhere. He's limping, so I assume it's his leg. Quite often though, you see sports people limp when they've been hitting the arm or the stomach. Patterson White in again. Whiteley's lifted this into the leg side. He's going to get caught on the boundary, and he's caught on the boundary, and he almost punches his bat in disgust. Whiteley goes for 31. That is disappointing. Derbyshire 121 for 6 now, as Ross Whiteley goes for a 21 ball innings of 31, which included 2 sixes and 1 4. And now the man who will, he can hit the ball a long way, don't get me wrong, Brooke Guest, but he will be nudging it around for all he's worth. But that's a disappointment for Ross Whiteley.
Obviously Ross Whiteley felt like it was his matchup with the spinning into him. Just didn't get enough of it. So yeah, this is a massive partnership now. After this, it's the bowlers. So hopefully these guys can bat for at least another 3 or 4 overs to get us to a decent score.
No Zach Chappell tonight. Ben Aitchison can hit a long ball. We've seen him do that. We've seen him get a half century in red ball cricket against Nottinghamshire here. I think that's his highest score in first class cricket. That was pre-injuries. Well, that's not going to stop him swinging the bat, I'm sure. Liam Patterson White now 3 for 18. Step forward, Mohammed Ghazanfar a little bit later on, possibly. 121 for 6. 5 overs and 2 balls to go in the Derbyshire innings, and Brooke Guest gets his first run of the season, because it's his first appearance of the season as he clips that just nicely down to short fine leg. Derbyshire move on to 122 for 6. A lot on Wayne Madsen's shoulders here. 20 off 24. Patterson White bowls to him, and he pulls this one into the leg side out towards Sams on the mid-wicket boundary. Another single is taken. He moves to 21, 123 for 6, and it was the last ball of the over. So 10 off it, but Patterson White 4 overs, 3 for 20. I think I'd probably take that.
Yeah, I'd take that as well. Obviously, spin again. Spinner's doing well, so yeah.
Yeah. Disappointing to see the end of Ross Whiteley, but chance for Brooke Guest. First chance of the season. Calvin Harrison back to bowl from the racecourse end at 123 for 6. He's in now and bowls, and that one just turns away gently from Wayne Madsen. He cuts it out towards the point boundary, and they go through for a single. I even spotted the way that one turned. I'm quite impressed with myself there. I can't read it any other way until it hits the pitch, unfortunately. That one is off a pat, I think, into the leg side. And they go through for a leg bye. 125 for 6. 28 deliveries of the innings remain. So they need 2 a ball at least. That would take them up to 180 as Madsen goes back initially and then clips the ball into the leg side for a single. He moves to 23, 126 for 6. 2 a ball, 180. It's sort of par-ish, perhaps slightly below, but it gives them something to work with. Anything less than that, it's going to be difficult. Brooke Guest has brought the reverse out now. He hasn't got a run from it. He's gone straight to the fielder at backward point. There is Lyndon James. I'm not sure I've seen Brooke Guest reverse too many times either. I've got a good question for you in a minute. I've just thought of it. Now he's gone for the reverse again. Oh, and he's almost bowled. I put that away.
2 points there. Risky shot.
Well, I'm not sure. But there's two. Yeah, you're right. Two men backward a square on the offside. This time he's gone for the more conventional slog sweep. He's got an under edge down to fine leg, and the Harrison over comes to an end at 127 for 6. Just 4 runs off that over, which is slightly disappointing. If you're playing white ball cricket, would you not wear white gloves?
I was actually commenting the other day on his gloves.
Yeah.
They're blue, and then they're also black at line, so new look.
I don't see if the ball hits your hand, you've got white gloves on. The umpire might not see it. If it hits your black gloves, he's going to spot it straight away. Isn't he? We've got black.
It's a nice look, though. I think it's a nice look.
Yeah.
Cricket's changing.
So it's all about fashion now.
It is about fashion.
Well, here's a man who knows all about it.
I remember last time we were speaking about Ali's footwear, though, weren't we? If you remember.
Yes, yeah, bright orange,
Bright
or bright
orange,
green, and
yeah,
all sorts.
green footwear.
Absolutely nonsensical. Daniel
It's a
Sams.
fashion show with you, Dave, every time I come.
Well, that's not a major surprise, is it, when you look at me? Here's Sams bowling his 3rd over. Bowls to Guest, who jabs it down into the offside. And there's no run. Well, of course, they can't change their hairstyles like some footballers can, because they quite often, and more often than not, poor old Brooks got his helmet on when he's wicket-keeping and when he's
Bowlers
batting.
can. I actually dyed my hair, bleached it blonde, and half of it was green for the Stag season.
Yeah.
We had a retro round, and I brought it back to one of the old players that used to play for CD, so might have to bring it back in the 4-day for you.
Wow. Sams bowls to Guest, who just taps this into the leg side. He fancies 2 here. I don't think they're going to go. They are going to come back. That's excellent running. And that's what Brooke Guest will bring you, that hustle.
Trumpet.
Yeah, it's not, I mean, for a big crowd like this, it's not really got the traction, has it? I think it's had its day. I'm delighted to say it's had its day. We didn't hear Sweet Caroline on Wednesday night. I don't think I've heard it this season. I'm thrilled to say. 129 for 6, that's one good thing about football. They have goal music now. What's that all about? Sams is in, and that one's guided down to 3rd man, and it's half kept in and kept in completely. Nicely done in the end by Lyndon James. He almost slid past the ball down below us, but he managed to keep it in. There he goes on the replay, and he goes past the ball. It dribbles towards the rope, but he did keep it in. Nicely done. 131 for 6. Guest has 6, and I've no idea why I comment on people's hairstyles, by the way. That's the other thing, that I should really shut up.
Were you also not a fan of the Vuvuzela then, Dave?
No, gosh, no. No. It was even bad on telly, though, wasn't it? It must have been horrendous in the stadium.
It was.
Was that 2010? This next delivery from Sams, when he tries to pull it into the leg side, I think it was a slower ball.
Yep, off cutter.
Yeah,
Obviously, you've got a
I thought so.
guy that travels around the world playing T20 cricket, so it's obviously hard to get him away. He's going to bowl the last few overs from that end, so it's going to be hard to push that 160, 170 mark.
I still think they need 180 minimum, but they're not going to get there now. What have we got? 20 balls to go.
One big over. Have some belief.
I think Wayne Madsen has got to hit a few straight back down the ground. It's easier said than done, of course, but if anybody can do it, he can. Sams is in, and he's chopped that just to the left of the fielder at backward point. And they go through for a single. It was a valiant attempt at the catch to his left by Patterson White. Just couldn't get there. Wayne Madsen, the only Derbyshire player to have scored 2 T20 centuries. I mean, he's not going to get one tonight, obviously, with 24 or 28 and 19 balls to go, but sort of guide to his prowess. The only Derbyshire player to get 2 T20 centuries. They haven't had many players, full stop. I think it's 6. It might even be just 5, and he's done it twice. Sams is in. If he'd left that, it would have been a wide. Brooke Guest, but he managed to get some bat on it. Did well to reach it in the end. Picks up a single. It was the final ball of the over. 134 for 6. So 18 balls to go. They can't really go too hard because it's Aitchison, Gazanfar and Brown, not necessarily in that order, still to come. So it's a tricky one from here. The run's not quite drying up, but just 11 off the last 2 overs, 10 off the one before, and 4 off the one before that. So that's 25 runs off the last 4 overs, which is not quite what we would be hoping for, sadly. It's going to be Calvin Harrison to bowl his third over. Oh, Brookes tried to hit the cover off that. It's gone out to square leg for a single. Guest moves on to 9.
Yeah, it's getting to the point that you probably just have to go for it and hope that you don't lose a wicket. You know that 150 is probably not going to be enough, so...
What I'd like is to see Ben Aitchison standing up and swinging the bat in preparation to come out as Madsen clubs this down the ground. It's only going to be a single as the man at long on, Conor McCurr, does the fielding. But he's sitting down on the bench at the moment. Is Ben Aitchison. Jump to your feet, start swinging that bat. I think he's the only one with pads on in that. There must be somebody else. As this one is a swing and a miss really from Brookes. There's a shy towards the stumps. He gets through 4, a single.
Just.
Yes, very close, but he manages to complete the single. Moves to 10, 137 for 6. I was going to say it's a fairly glum-looking dugout, but it always looks a slightly glum dugout when there aren't many people in it. All the batters who are out, most of them are back in the changing room. Madsen goes for the big swing and it hits him on the back foot. Dribbles out backward of square on the offside.
Yeah, only really Donald has got the pace of the wicket here. Everyone else has struggled to hit through the line of the ball. Ross got a few, but it's been a little bit hard to hit.
Next delivery, Madsen misses. Swing and a miss through to the wicket-keeper, Moores.
You obviously had our game on Wednesday night, the women's game before, and now this, so you never know. It gets a little bit tacky after...
It's a day 3 pitch, isn't it, effectively?
After a few games.
This will be 200 overs at the end of Derbyshire's innings. He's gone for the reverse. He's got 6. He's got all of that as Wayne Madsen. Brilliant shot. That's exactly what Wayne Madsen can do. Just livens up the crowd again. The 6 cards start flying and Madsen moves on to 31. 143 for 6 with 2 overs to go. 170 minimum for me. I'm not asking for a lot. Even Ed Dawes has got his 6 card behind us, waving it. He cheered when the trumpet went off. The bugle went off before as well, I noticed. Yeah, he was the only one in the ground who did. So we're going to see Daniel Sams bowl the final over from the City end. He's bowled 3 overs for 22. There were 9 runs off that last over. 143 for 6 then with 12 balls to go. It's Brookes on strike. Sams comes in and bowls to him and he clubs it up to mid-off. A fairly unconventional cricket shot, but I think as much strike as Wayne Madsen can see while he stays out there. Cut-off time 17 minutes past 8, so they're going to get well inside that. There's a slight breeze blowing as we look out from the racecourse end from right to left, so from the west. The clouds are barely moving up above. There is actually some sunshine now. In fact, the fielders out on the square on the leg side boundary are struggling with. That's a slower ball, and Madsen waits for it, pulls it round the corner, but just for a single. As it goes out to Dylan Pennington down to our left.
Yeah, slower bouncer, obviously. A little bit of hold in the wicket now. The ball's got a little bit older, I think, and obviously, like we said, 3 games on it, so a lot of slow balls here into the wicket, getting hit square, showing his experience, really.
I'm not going to put you on the spot by asking you for an answer, but we did notice on Wednesday night that the ball that swung early on, as in comes Sams and bowls on, there's a swing and a miss there from Brookes. He might have been better trying to get inside the line of that one and helping it around the corner, but it's easier said than done from where he is. Then Samit Patel hit one that went not over the building, but just to the right of the building. Then they changed the ball, and the next one started swinging again.
Yeah, no comment.
No, I wouldn't ask you to comment. Just an observation.
There's a few senior bowlers there that can make something happen out of nothing sometimes, so...
Yeah, I'm with you. 145 for 6, 9 deliveries to go. That's why I didn't want you to answer. Sams is in, and he's got this one. It's gone straight up in the air. There are 2 fielders running at each other, and it's dropped in front of one of them who's coming in. They're going to come back for a second as well. That was a bit of a misjudgment, really, because it wasn't Lyndon James's catch, probably. If I was him, I'd have...
I thought that was another one over the shoulder, really, but he's already bowled 1 bounce for the over, but they didn't give it on the replay, but...
2 runs added to the total at 147 for 6. Guest moves on to 13 off 15.
I like the rule in the IPO, actually. You're allowed 2 bounces in the over.
I think you should be allowed as many as you want, personally. I think bowlers are bad. I mean, I could never bat, so I wasn't very good at bowling either. Sams bowls. That one's launched down the ground, straight over the head of Daniel Sams. That might run away for 4 and does. That's a really nice shot from Brooke Guest and much needed as well. Sams hasn't been hit for many boundaries in this innings so far. Guest moves to 17 and the 150's up for Derbyshire. 151 for 6, but that was a really nice shot from Brooke Guest with the mid-off up. He was able to clear him and it raced away to the rope. I want to be able to tell you, actually. I think I probably can find a way how many boundaries Daniel Sams has gone for. I don't think it's many. He's in again now and bowls to Guest, who's launched that one out to the members' pavilion. It bounces just inside the rope and gets over it for 4. And he hits back-to-back boundaries off the last 2 balls of the over. That could be big. 12 off that over. 155 for 6. If they can get the 15 run over now and get to 170, it won't be enough, but...
Pessimistic.
Yeah, well, hopefully, we can't obviously see from here, but hopefully it's getting a little bit holdy, a little bit harder to score after a couple games on it already. So, yeah, hopefully, you never know.
Those 2 4s that Daniel Sams conceded off the last 2 balls of that over were the first 2 boundaries he'd conceded in his entire spell. 4 overs for 34. He finishes with the Australian. He must have won the Big Bash at some point, has he?
He's with the Thunder, I think.
Has he? They don't win, do
they?
They
don't usually.
No,
win.
they're
I'm not good with my BBL
No, I'm not.
stats.
I watch it, but I'm not good with stats, full
I just
stop.
know that Caleb Jewell and the Hobart Hurricanes won it.
Yeah,
this
it's
season.
Century Stand in the final, Caleb,
Yeah.
with his 12 off 12.
Now going to the Renegades.
Yes.
Ask him about the Tasmanian Stadium. He's not very happy about it.
Really? Pennington to bowl the final over. That one's been helped over the wicketkeeper by Wayne Madsen down towards a very fine leg. He's going to come back for the second. There's a slight fumble in the far distance from the fielder. There's another slower ball, I fancy, from Dylan Pennington. And Derbyshire moved to 157 for 6. And now I'm starting to feel sorry for Ben Aitchison, who's probably not going to get a bat. He'd probably be pleased, in fairness. The Falcon is making his way around the boundary. I have no idea who's in it at the moment.
Yeah, that might be my next job if I get sacked off here.
Pennington in and bowls. That one is driven out into the offside. There's only going to be 1 this time because there's a fielder out there. It's Sams. And Madsen moves to 35. A run of ball, 35. 158 for 6 with 4 deliveries to go. They pulled a fast one a couple of years ago and they have the mascot race on finals day at Edgbaston and they brought in a proper athlete. Yeah, won it. Yeah, he was sharp. Don't know who it was. 158 for 6. Pennington's in full toss, and that's driven by Brooke Guest for 4. There was a despairing dive by the fielder on the edge of the circle at mid-off. He just got his fingertips to it, I fancy, but he couldn't actually hold on. It's Conor McCurr. And a very welcome boundaries. Derbyshire moved to 162 for 6. They're edging closer to that 170, but of course they're also edging closer to the end of the innings. Just 3 deliveries left now. 170 in their sights. 180 would be great. No, I'm not going. 3 sixes might be asking a lot. Pennington is in and bowls, and that one's launched up in the air. He's going to be caught here is Brooke Guest. Fielder gets round, takes the catch, and Brooke Guest goes for 25. But a very valuable innings from 19 deliveries from Brooke Guest. Love that the wicket has been greeted by complete silence. That's something that Samit Patel was very keen on. The Derbyshire supporters, he said, were too fair. 162 for 7. Well, they're not being fair tonight, and I like it.
I thought you were saying the Linkin Park song that you're excited for.
Is that who this is?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, no idea. Were they the ones who did the...
Don't ask me too many questions about it.
They did Champions League. Before the Champions League, was that Linkin Park or was that somebody else?
I didn't watch it, Dave, truthfully.
Well, I did.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know.
They got a female singer?
No.
No.
It's a male singer.
Yeah, male. I hope no one's listening to this.
It's like three old men, isn't it? Do you remember Vera Lynn?
I'm actually going to watch Springsteen tomorrow.
Really?
I am, yeah.
He's about 80, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got to be.
Yeah.
He's got to be.
Patterson White with a catch there, incidentally, as Pennington is in now to Ben Aitchison, who lifts this ball down towards third man. He's going to get caught as well, first ball, and he is. He had to swing, and he's been caught down at third man. He goes for a first ball duck, but nobody cares. But he will, obviously, but
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
it's bowling death, really. You can get hit for a few runs, but you can take wickets at the death. So now he's on a hat-trick ball, so...
And who will bat? Will it be Pat Brown, who can't bat? Or will it be, well, he can't. Will it be Gazanfar? I think that's Gazanfar, you know.
Yeah, he's just getting his bowling boots on, I think. and now he's
Here he
strapped on.
comes. Mohammed Gazanfar to bat for the first time for Derbyshire. I'm looking forward to this. It's a shame it's only one delivery.
He's got one ball, yeah.
And it's on a hat-trick ball, so...
Oh, I hope he's not the victim of a hat-trick. I wouldn't, no, I don't like that. But what I do like is Mohammed Gazanfar comes out to bat with 70 on his back. And Wayne Madsen, well, I wouldn't bother Wayne. Bless him. His English is improving, bless him, the Afghanistan man. Haynes with the catch on this occasion, incidentally, down at third man as Dylan Pennington. He's on a hat-trick. I think we'll give it as much as Radio Nottingham would give it if it'd be a Derbyshire player. So nothing. Gazanfar still marking out his...
I'd love it if he hit it for 6.
Yeah, same. That'll be a good memory.
So would I. 162 for 8 then.
Come on.
Pennington on his way in. Gazanfar swings for the hills and misses. Wayne Madsen calls him through. The ball hits the stumps. He's run out. 162 for 9. Doesn't count as a hat-trick because he doesn't go to the bowler, I'm delighted to say. Gazanfar, not out. Wayne Madsen, unfortunately, goes for 35. It's been a decent knock from the red ball skipper. 35 of 36 deliveries. We're going to get some badges made in the half-time interval. I've seen Mohammed Gazanfar bat. Finishes at 0 from 1 as the scoreboard turns into a huge advert. 162 for 9. Derbyshire started really, really well, sort of, losing Caleb Jewell and David Lloyd early on. They were 20 for 2, then an Aaron Donald exploded into life, made a 21-ball half-century before he was out, 65 for 3. Samit Patel made just 1, Martin Anderson 3. Ross Whiteley with a 31 off 21 balls, hit a couple of decent-looking sixes to me. Are you still there? You couldn't just press the OK? No, not near. We're not touchscreen, John Sullivan. There we go. Thank you very much. Brooke Guest out for 25. Valuable innings for him on his first appearance of the season. And Ben Aitchison had to swing for it, got caught down at third man for a first baller. Madsen 35. Gazanfar 0 at the end at Wayne Madsen run out. I'm indebted to my colleague Jonathan Baker, who is listening, and it was Linkin Park. They have got a female singer, so there.
I'm sure he's male.
Well, one of them is no longer with us, and they recruit. Anyway, this is this is not.
I didn't even watch it though.
This is not Pick of the Pops.
Not half, mate. Hello. Welcome to the interval.
Joe Shakic, who, as I said, will be with us on Sunday at Edgbaston, reckons we're 9 short.
9.
9?
How come just 9?
Hold on, Joe. And that's it for the messages that I've received so far. I haven't been peppered as badly.
They're short though, aren't they?
Oh, God, no question about it. I think 163 to win on this pitch. The only thing that I would say in Derbyshire's favour is that they've now had, 100 overs in the women's game. They've had 40 overs on Wednesday night, 40 overs. So it's how many is that? It's 180. 200 overs have been bowled on this pitch now, which is 2 full days of red ball cricket. If they can keep it tight in the power play. Derbyshire did well in the power play, to be fair, getting to 65 for 2. And then it really closed in on them, and they're going to have to bowl well. I think it probably is too many, and it's going to be 3 defeats from the first 3 games, but you live in hope.
This is where your mystery spinner comes to the wicket, literally, isn't it? Where you open the bowling with him, and he's really got to be impactful in his overs, hasn't he, John?
Oh, of course, yeah. To get Derbyshire off to a good start in their bowling, it'd be crucial to how they perform in the innings.
And Dave, he did start well the other night, didn't he?
I think he's bowled pretty well each time he's played. He picked up a couple of wickets at Leicester. He picked up 2 for 30. That might have been the one. I'm looking at no, that was on Wednesday night. He got 2 for 30, and he picked up 2 wickets at Leicester as well. He's had a really good start. He's a fascinating bowler to watch. He's got an incredible run-up, and he's probably going to have to make his mark again tonight.
He's going to be backed up, though, isn't he?
No Zach Chappell.
No.
Which means that there's a bit more emphasis possibly on Pat Brown. There's a bit more emphasis possibly on Ben Aitchis, and Martin Anderson might have to bowl a little bit more than he has. They've still got plenty of bowling there, though, with Samit, of course, with his spin, and we've seen that spin has worked really nicely so far in this game, haven't we? Patterson White bowled nicely. Why has that stopped working now? Ed, what's happening here?
I've no idea.
I've locked. I've locked. We haven't got a scoreboard anywhere near us. Not a single scoreboard anywhere near us. Anyway, no, that's the wrong one. It's that one. Look there.
You're having a great time with those buttons, aren't you?
Well, there are too many buttons, and they're not necessarily in the right order. And now John's going to fall flat on his face, and Blair hasn't switched his microphone back on, and he has now.
We've got all the New Zealanders heckling me as well at home.
Have
Now
you?
they're waking
Right.
up. Yeah, we've got a group, the PIF Syndicate. They go to the pub on Saturday, so they're probably waking up ready to go.
They
So
won't be in there yet, though, surely.
no, not at the local watering hole yet, but I'm sure the Duke of Gloucester will get seen to tonight.
Other pubs are available. Well, I don't think we need to say that.
I don't think it matters,
need to
does it?
say that, do we really? We don't need to say that.
Right, so it's 163 to win for Notts Outlaws as the light roller goes up and down the wicket in front of us. The lines being marked out, the gunk being swept away as well. So Derbyshire, have they got enough runs? This is how they got those.
Cheers, mate. character is Gazanfar. He doesn't look a natural fielder to me. He didn't necessarily look a natural batter either, but when you're as good a bowler as he is, one discipline will do. Just about. I've got the same message as you, John, from our mutual friend. Yeah, he'll be laughing on the other side of his face.
Smug, let's say.
He'll get peppered when it goes wrong. One without loss. Lyndon James on strike, and that one's turned into the leg side. They're going to go through for a single. Two men out are at, well, they're always are, aren't they? At square leg and at backward point. And Blair's going to help me out here. Who's a substitute fielder?
I'm looking as well, actually.
Yeah. Who's that at? It's one of those two. In comes Aitchison again, and that one is pushed up towards Gazanfar by Clark, and there's no run.
Is it Potts?
Is it Nick Potts?
Yes, I think so.
Yes, it is. 26 on his back. He's very kindly turned around. Nick Potts is on as the substitute fielder for the Falcons. He's at short third man. There's a slip in place. I imagine that Wayne Madsen will be leading the side now. Two without loss. Engaged and caught.
Good.
And Clark has gone. And that's a really sharp catch. Down to his right-hand side. That's the skipper, isn't it? The new skipper. Wayne Madsen takes the catch low. Clark goes early. And Nottinghamshire are 2 for 1. Needed that. Really good low catch. Oof. Oh, well, it would have been even better if we'd seen all of it.
It was on this one.
Yes, I know. They didn't manage to
Took
get
it off his toes.
Yeah.
That is a terrific catch. Ben Aitchison, his first wicket. He didn't pick up a wicket on Wednesday night, I don't think. So that'll be his first wicket since 2022.
Yeah, it didn't look like it swung much, but a little bit of extra bounce there. Just nicking off to Madsen at slip, 1.5 slip, I think. So.
Big wicket as well. Joe Clark, the skipper, who can hit the ball a long way. We're just going to get another angle of that now, and beautiful bit of camera work from the guys on the gantry.
That'll give him a huge boost as well to get a wicket so early.
Yeah, we're going to obviously have to take wickets early to put a little bit of pressure on them. Like we struggled, obviously losing wickets. We were 5 down in the middle, so if we can do the same, pressure on to finish the game. So
Jack Haynes is the new batter for the Outlaws. Looks like Pat Brown just leaping up and down on the boundary at backward point. Might bowl the first over from the... Doesn't generally like to bowl that early. But no, Chappell needs must. As Aitchison's on his way in the bowl to Haynes, who just guides this one out towards Brown. He's obviously wearing two very enormous white sweatbands. Haynes off the mark, 3 for 1. Yes, as you say, John, it's a huge boost, isn't it? It's like you're 2-0 down. I'm gonna batter this one to death, you know.
No, it literally is 2-1. It was 2-1.
Yeah, you're 2-0 down at half time, and you go out and you say, what we need is an early goal. As Aitchison bowls, that one is driven quite straight. Gazanfar fields this one cleanly, and the first over comes to an end, and it's a really good one from Ben Aitchison. A wicket in it, and just 3 runs off. And Ben Aitchison deserves everything he gets for my money.
Same with any sport though, Dave. Like, momentum's a massive thing in sport, and it can swing 2 or 3 times in a game. Really, you just have to really knuckle down when you've got that swing of momentum to make it count. Really.
Yes, and even in T20 cricket, which not quite the shortest form of the game, as we know there are T10s out there. Some, of course, Gazanfar's going to bowl the first over from the City end. It is surprising that you still get those little ups and downs in T20 cricket. It always surprises me when you do, but you do.
yeah, you obviously see when you get a few wickets, the fielders just feel that buzz as well. So that you're on the one, someone takes a screamer, and then all of a sudden it's a snowball effect, really.
Gazanfar bowling to Haynes. Quickish run up. In he comes now, and Haynes misses that one. It's gone down the leg side, but must have just brushed some. Oh, he's going to signal wide now. He almost was prompted by the batter to signal wide there. I thought it was a wide, in fairness, but it's almost as if Michael Goff had forgotten to signal wide. which he had, but he does signal it, and it is wide, and it's 4 for 1. And here comes Gazanfar again. That one's on target, and it's just guided down towards short third man to Caleb Jewell.
I asked you last game, but have you worked out what he's bowling yet?
Might have a better chance by looking at some of the replays. We're live from the Central Co-op County Ground on this Friday night. Blair Tickner, John Brayford, myself, Dave Fletcher. 5 for 1, the Outlaws, chasing 163. Below par, possibly 163, although this is now the 202nd over on this pitch, or thereabouts. And Gazanfar is in to bowl to Lyndon James. That one does turn into him, so that was an orthodox off spinner, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. He likes to bowl. I think he likes to bowl a little bit out the front of the hand so it can swing early on with the new ball as well. So that did look like a turn back, but as a tail ender, I'm not going to tell you what he's doing.
But if you played club cricket, you'd be opening the batting. I've got no chance. 6 for 1. That's Gazanfar, a fairly straight run up as well. He's in, and that one is just played into the ground by Haynes. Word will be getting around. He strikes early. 2 wickets in his first over on Wednesday night. Took him an over before he got his first wicket at Grace Road, but a little bit of booing. It's Moores walking to the dugout. Poor old Tom Moores. No love for him over there on the grandstand as Gazanfar is in. That's a little quicker, and that's lifted square, backward of square for 6 runs by Haynes. And that, we talked about effortless in the first innings, that was pretty effortless as well. He was onto it very quickly. Again, it looked like the off spinner, so it was turning down leg side. And just helped on its way, really. 6 to Haynes, who moves to 8, 12 for 1. Occupational hazard of a spinner to get hit for 6. Got to believe in his, that horrible word, processes, whatever they are. 12 for 1. After 10 deliveries. In comes Gazanfar, gives that one a little more air possibly, and it's driven up towards wide, long off by Haynes for just a single on this occasion. That's Martin Anderson doing the fielding. And criticising the gold, Derbyshire having blue numbers and letters on a blue shirt is absolutely astonishing. But we're stuck with it, so it's like some of the football teams who wear stripes and numbers with no white background, as that one is driven by James up towards Anderson again. They go through for another single. Move on to 14 for 1 at the end of the over. So 11 runs off that, largely due down to that 6. Now, I don't mind this song. A bit of Tony Christie. Who? Dear, oh dear.
I thought you were going to say Peter Kay.
Well, yes, it was subsequently done by Peter Kay, but this is clearly the Tony Christie version of Amarillo. It'll be in New Zealand in a couple of years' time. I think just said he bowled a very nice first over. He's going to bowl over number 3. His second from the race course end. He's bowling to James, who cuts this out into the offside, where it's fielded by Pat Brown. And they go through for a single. 15 for 1. I don't know if the crowd were actually told. They'll notice that Samit Patel's not out there, but I don't know if they were told that Samit Patel is not out there.
Don't think many of the people over near that bar are going to notice that he's not out there.
I don't know what day of the week it is. There's 80-some balls. This one's lifted into the leg side. It's going to go to the left of Ross Whiteley and bounce once before going for 4. Nice shot from Haynes, who moves on to 13. And Nottinghamshire up to 19 for 1. No, they're fairly well anaesthetised, a few of them over there, I would have thought by now. Well, we're already
They've actually got a couple of bars to choose from. They've got the old double-decker bus out the back as well.
Yeah. Here comes Aitchison again. Ball strikes the leading edge, and it drops short of Caleb Jewell on the offside. Haynes gets away with 1 there.
Obviously, Wayne's brought out the slipper. He's taken himself to mid-wicket. It's obviously a hard one. You want to take wickets, but you also want to defend runs. So, yeah, you caught both minds, really. Catching cover and catching mid-wicket are probably the way to go with that little extra bounce. Hopefully we can get extra few overs, few wickets. 3 in the first power play, isn't it?
3 in the power play.
Yeah,
You've got to win the game. This one is pushed into the offside. If you lose 3, you lose the game. That was fielded by Caleb Jewell. But again, on Wednesday, both sides were 3 down at the end of the power play. My brain was about to explode. I had no idea what was going on. Not for the first
Is there a
time.
football rule if you get 3 goals scored against you in the first 10 minutes, you're going to lose?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. Aitchison bowls a slower delivery. It's pulled round the corner to Ross Whiteley by Haynes for a single. He moves on to 14, 20 for 1. Yeah, when you're 3-0 down after 10 minutes, you start thinking about the substitutions at half-time to save the players' legs for the next game.
Or as a player, you're wondering what's coming at half time and what you're being said to.
Yes, there's always that. It's something that sort of happens in cricket occasionally, but not quite as often I don't think, as Aitchison is in. That's a full delivery, nicely bowled. James punches it up the ground. There's a roll towards the stumps by Nyron Donald. 21 for 1 after 3, 7 runs off that one. At the same stage, Derbyshire were 20 for 2, having already lost Caleb Jewell and David Lloyd. The Outlaws have lost Joe Clark. Caught in the slips by Wayne Madsen after bowling at Ben Aitchison in the first over with the score on 2. Chirping stopped for now. Birmingham are 20 without loss, chasing 165 to beat Yorkshire. We already told you about the Worcestershire defeat to Northamptonshire. Leicestershire are playing Durham. Durham are 84 for 4, halfway stage, chasing 194 to win. Pat Brown coming on to bowl here. Lots of games in the south as well, but nobody's really interested in them until the latter stages, because we don't play anybody from the south until the knockout, and therefore Derbyshire don't play many teams from the south. 21 for 1 as Brown is in to bowl to James, who's smashed this out towards mid-wicket for 4. There must be a knot of not supporters somewhere, because there was some applause, but largely people have stayed with their arms firmly folded after that shot. James moves to 9, 25 for 1. Pat Brown has got any number of variations. We're going to see as many of them, I don't think, on Wednesday night as we might do. I like the slower ball out the back. I don't know, he doesn't break his wrist. He's in now and bowls, and that one is guided down towards the backward point boundary. Ross Whiteley is there, so they'll get a single, and James moves to 10, 26 for 1. You got a back of the hand slower ball? You must have. Everybody's got one of those.
For me, I feel like it's extinct. I think people announced the knuckleball. It's the new craze. It came from the baseballers. Obviously, the pitchers bowled knuckleballs for years, and now bowlers are doing it. Just sort of wobbles down, seam up. That's the craze at the moment.
Goes around and comes around. It's like hitting the valve for the free kick, isn't it? Ball will could do something. I've no idea what it's going to do, but it could do something. 26 for 1. Brown on his way in again. Haynes on strike, and that was down the leg side and will be signalled wide. Well taken by Brooke Guest, tumbling away to his left-hand side. I like a bit of baseball as well. I don't profess to understand a lot about it, but they generally only have a couple of pitches, the pitches that are their stock ones, and then they'll chuck in a couple more occasionally, but they're more prone to going wrong from what I can tell. Might just be the baseball that I watch. Brown in again, and that one is carved away straight to Caleb Jewell. Cover. Nicely done by Jewell. Haynes remains on 14, 27 for 1. It's at a bad time though. They, of course, picked a team on the West Coast. They'll play at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Which team did you pick?
San Diego Padres, who are also were when I picked them, the worst team in professional baseball. They're quite good now. They managed to watch them last night against the Giants. They lost. Here is Brown in bowls. That one's on the pads and flicked away. The fielder might get around. It's Aitchison out there. He does, and he picks up nicely and hurls in and keeps him down to a single. And the ball just gets away from Guest momentarily. Gets the thumbs up though, Aitchison, from his standing skipper,
Sharp.
Madsen.
Sharp fielding.
I thought it was excellent fielding, and it's difficult out there. This outfield, it looks nice from here. It's tricky at times, isn't it?
Very tricky, yeah.
I think we'll
The
call it.
rain has joined the, what do you want to call them, the holes.
Yes.
We've had a few near misses in the 4 days. Lloydie nearly got hit in the face at Gully, but it does, around here it does jump up, so you saw some of the Knots boys not used to it, so it's a little...
It's the wrong way around, isn't it? The pitch is flat in the outfield, isn't it? It comes Brown again, bowls a short delivery. That's going to go for 6. It was a top edge, and it's gone all the way for 6. Off the bat of Lyndon James. He didn't really mean to play it there, but he has done. And now, well, Brooke Kester's called for a helmet. If he's going to stand up to Pat Brown, he's
I think it's finished, so...
thank goodness for that. He'd be mad.
No, that was good bowling. Pat Brown's put his fine leg out, had deep square out, bowled the bouncer, top edge almost, and it's gone for 6. And go another way and be straight down his throat, so don't mind that bowling. We've got to take wickets here.
A bit behind on DLS, which says they should be on 28. They're 34 for 1. Brown is in and bowls. That's a slower ball. It's turned into the leg side by James. In off the boundary comes Aitchison, and the over comes to an end at 35 for 1. 14 off that over. At the same stage, after 4 overs, Derbyshire were 42 for 2, but that was the time that Aaron Donald was going mad with the bat, so nothing in it at the moment as Gazanfar is back. He's going to bowl 2 overs in the power play. Poor old John's not even on the picture. What's up with John? There he is, everybody. There he is. Look, there he is. Just to prove that he is actually here in person. I wonder what you were doing then.
Don't get that camera too close. My wife probably is going to say I need a shave or something.
Yes, quiet. You let yourself go.
Yeah.
Christ knows what mine will say though.
35 for 1. 4 overs down. Gazanfar. This time we should be able to pick him because he's bowling from the... we won't. From the race course end, and he's in, and that one looked fairly straight. And James pushes it up to mid-off, but it's fielded by Pat Brown. They go through for a single. 36 for 1. Could do with Gazanfar. Picking up a couple here. And just getting the crowd back into it. It's gone a bit quiet. John, if he's still listening, can get them moving down below us to our left. He can start the songs. And we can get a proper atmosphere going here at the Central Co-op County Ground. Here is Gazanfar in to bowl to Haynes, who goes back and pulls this one into the leg side. Gazanfar liked that one. David Lloyd is going through his bowling action at point. 37 for 1. I know he's. You don't need to bat again, Lloydie. It's your bowling that we need now. Just practice the back foot defensive shots. Gazanfar bowls, and that's defended by James up towards long off for another single. Pat Brown again does the fielding, throws the ball in. It bounces twice. The umpires, if he'd been looking, Neil Pratt, he wouldn't have been happy with that, but he wasn't looking, so he's managed to sneak a second bounce in there. As Pat Brown. I've never understood why they don't mind 1 bounce, really, but they don't like 2. As Gazanfar hops and sets off, he's in. That one is, well, he waited for that, didn't he? Waited very well there. Haynes just turned it round the corner down to Ross Whiteley, a backward square leg for a single. 17 to Haynes, 19 to James, 39 for 1. They're not massively in front of Duckworth Lewis at this stage, though. Around about 5 or 6, something of that order. Just the 1 wicket, though, so far for the Falcons, as Gazanfar is in, and that's played off the back foot by James, nicely stopped by Wayne Madsen. The old boy gets down well, doesn't he?
Yeah, I don't think I'll be doing that when I'm 40.
No.
Might have to have a wheelchair mid-wicket and I'll get across to it.
I won't be playing I won't be playing. Blimey, so I'm going to be 40 at any time soon. 39 for 1. Gazanfar's in again. James drives this uppishly in between Madsen and Gazanfar out towards long off for a single, and Gazanfar's second over comes to an end with the score on 40. 5 runs from it. 40 for 1 after 5. Derbyshire after 5 were 53 for 2. The miles in front. Miles in front.
Yep. Martin Anderson going to bowl early. We're obviously going to have to play all our cards early.
Yeah.
Look to take wickets, have an extra fielder and try and make something of it.
Yes, they've got to try and manufacture a wicket or two here. Derbyshire, if they're going to repeat last year's victory. 1 or 2 coats in the crowd, but it looks fairly pleasant. That 1 or 2 people are having to shade their eyes from the sun still in the grandstand as it sneaks in between a couple of trees, but it's on its way down now, so fairly soon the batters will be batting in the dark. Martin Anderson in, bowls to James, who goes back and gets an inside edge out into the leg side for a single. Been a real good signing, Martin Anderson. A couple of first-class centuries, picked up wickets.
He's been the golden arm, actually. He's sort of picked up a wicket in his first over a lot of the time this year in 4-day cricket and T20 cricket, so hopefully tonight's the night. Continues that.
It's one of those he's used quite sparingly as well. You must be quite jealous as this next one. He's pulled into the leg side. It's gone straight to the fielder out there, and that's a good piece of fielding by Pat Brown. If indeed it is Pat Brown. It is. It reared on him off the outfield.
Derby bounce.
Yeah. A couple of times last season it did that on him, and he looked absolutely furious, as Pat can when he's out on a cricket field. Pretty quiet off it, but not so quiet on it. Here's Anderson in again, bowls. Oh, that's a attempt to heave this into next week by James, and he gets a toe end of the bat and it dribbles into the offside. Anderson is that sort of pace that they'll fancy, I would suggest. He's got Nye Donald's shoes to keep him company up the top end there, look. What are they all about?
Yeah, I did tell him I'm not a fan.
No, he's got to wear some proper shoes. Anderson's in again. This one is heaved into the leg side. It'll be out to Pat Brown again. He's got to watch that bounce, and he does. And James picks up another single to move to 22. 43 for 1. I can't remember, John. Coloured boots? You must have had a few in your time. And they're all free, of course, so...
To be fair, it's rare you can get black boots these days, mate.
I know. Which is, there's something wrong about that, isn't there? Oh, this one's been lifted into the leg side to the left of Nick Potts at mid-on, and it's gone all the way for 4. And Haynes moves to 22, 47 for 1 in the 6th over. Thank you, Tom. I'll try and answer all these questions. Woody's listening. This one is banged in a bit shorter and pulled into the leg side by Haynes, who picks up a single. That's the end of the power play, and they are 47 for 1. Now, when you're chasing 163, that's not bad. Derbyshire at the end of the power play was 65 for 2, but of course they lost Nye Donald the first ball out of the power play, didn't they? So
they did.
Tom Woods, here we go. Is Chapo injured? Yes. What's happened to Samit? He's pulled his calf. P.S. Have I picked any of Gazanfar's deliveries yet with a wink? No. But he did say that I picked one of Aitchison's slowies in the power play. I'm impressed, he said.
We think it was a slow one.
Well, yes. Yeah. For some reason, Jono just sent me a message that just says Sweet Caroline. I've no idea why. Thank you, Jono. 48 for 1, in fact, at the end of the power play, so 8 runs off that over. My apologies. So when you're behind the 8 ball, as Ross Whiteley's coming on the bat now, I'm going to ask the footballer first. And you're a little bit behind in I don't know what the equivalent is in football to this, but after Ross Whiteley's first ball, he's bowling to Haynes, left arm around the wicket, of course, and he guides that down towards short third man, where it's fielded by Caleb Jewell. They go through for a single, 49 for 1. How do you approach it? Say it was 3-1. But if it was 3-1, you just go out all attack, wouldn't you, really? And then the closer to the end, you go out all attack.
That's it. It's dependent on timing. Like you just said, Derby are ahead in the power play at this moment in time. So anything can happen. You can't go too early.
No, there is that. There's Whiteley bowls. That's crashed away. That might be 4. It will be 4. It's going to beat Ben Aitchison out on the boundary. Ross Whiteley can't quite believe it. James moves to 26. 53 for 1. And it's the same in both sports. 10 minutes to go when you're 4-0 down, you know what the result's going to be, but you've got to play the 10 minutes. It's like in cricket when you know one side's going to win. In a limited overs game, when you know what the result is, but you've still got to watch the rest of it. Nothing worse in my experience. So Whiteley bowls. That one is guided away, and that'll be 4 more. It beats the man at backward point, who's David Lloyd.
Yep.
And goes away to the boundary for 4 more. 57 for 1. James moves on to 30. Dear oh dear. This is I think, Clive, I've answered your question because it was the Samit Patel question. Jono was just trying to get the atmosphere going with that. Sweet Caroline. Well done, Jono. 57 for 1. Whiteley's in again. That one is played one-handed up towards long off for a single. Pat Brown. No, Martin Anderson comes in off the boundary to do the fielding. 58 for 1. So 5 bowlers used so far. We've still got to see David Lloyd. That's probably about it, actually. So they are hamstrung by a calf injury, which is relatively unusual. As Whiteley goes in, and that one's wide, but it's slapped away, not too far away from Wayne Madsen, but it was far enough away to get past him and go to the boundary for 4. Haynes just taking a slight risk there, but they can afford it, really not. Haynes moves to 28, 62 for 1 now. Whiteley 14 off this over so far. And some real thinking for Wayne Madsen to do here. He has a chat with his bowler. Not sure he can really place a fielder anywhere else because he was in the position not to take the catch as it was hit so hard and it was to his left.
Yeah, I guess he's taken the pace off it a lot there. He could bowl to almost a spinner's field and have another cover, but then obviously opening up the backward point area, so he can't bowl pace on any width from there. He gets slashed away as well. So
to the edge of the circle, Madsen, extra cover, and that one is just guided down towards short point, really, picked up by David Lloyd or Caleb Jewell, because they're both the same size. That was David Lloyd. 63 for 1 at the end of the over, 15 runs from it, and at the moment it's going away from Derbyshire unless they take some wickets here. Still to come for the Outlaws. Freddie McCann, who's bound to score runs because he took catches. Tom Moores, Daniel Sams, who we know from watching Big Bash cricket, can hit the ball on his day. Patterson, White, Montgomery. Matt Montgomery is down as a number 8 batter. He didn't bowl, did he? I'm sure he didn't. He didn't. He's a specialist number 8 in T20 cricket. The cheek of it. 63 for 1, and it's going to be Martin Anderson to continue. It's a little bit soporific at the moment. He's in and bowls, and that one is tried to pull it. It's gone down to Donald at long on. Doesn't look too much wrong with his shoulder there necessarily, so that's good news. Well, the game on Sunday, it's relentless. Edgbaston, Warwickshire against Derbyshire at 3 o'clock on Sunday. We're on air from 2. Joe Shakic and Dominic Dietrich will be with me. I'm sure they're already looking forward to it. Here comes Anderson in a bowl short, and it's pulled into the leg side. Brown does well, picks it up on the bounce and hurls the ball in, so keeps them down to a single. James moves on to 32, 65 for 1. They need a further 98 to win, but only at 7.5 and over.
yeah, David Lloyd's going to warm up, obviously.
Get him on.
Whiteley getting hit for 15 off and over. We've only used 5, so he's going to.
He's got a
Have to beat the
golden
golden
arm.
arm, yeah.
He's got a golden arm, Lloydie. This one is pulled again into the leg side for a single by Haynes this time. 66 for 1, out to Pat Brown again.
Yeah, games like this, obviously, when it's a lower score and they've got off to a decent start, I just like to take it as deep as possible. Hope that they make a mistake late in the run chase, really. It's all you can do.
Yes. It's never ideal when you're waiting for mistakes, though, is it? They don't have to play out of their skins or anything here. That one's helped round the corner. Short delivery. Gazanfar, brilliant. Takes it in both hands as it bounces and keeps them down to a single. I must admit, I had my heart in my mouth when the ball was heading down to the young Afghani, but he clutched onto it. Looks round and looks at the pitch and thinks, yeah, I did all right there. 67 for 1. He's now fielding at short fine leg, which is the worst position to field in any game of cricket. Haynes on strike on 31. That one's down the leg side. It hits the pad, though, and dribbles through to Brooke Guest. 5 p.m. in South Africa. Thank you, Renan, on Sunday. Don't be late. He can't wait, he says. He's very excited about Derbyshire cricket. I'll give you some of those other scores in a moment as well. This is the final ball of Martin Anderson's second over. It'll be the end of the 8th over of the innings. 67 for 1. As Anderson is in, and that one is pulled into the leg side. I think there's only going to be one here. They're going to come back for a second. Aitchison picks up and throws. If it's a good throw, he might have been in trouble. It was a good throw, and he wasn't in trouble because it was good running. 6 runs off the over, though. That's a decent one from Martin Anderson, who's now gone 2 overs for 14, which in any other game of T20 cricket you'd say, well, he's bowling really nicely, which he is. Unfortunately, the commodity that Derbyshire need is wickets, and we are indeed going to see David Lloyd for the first time in this one. Durham, 121 for 6 in the 15th over. They need 73 from 5 overs and 2 balls to beat Leicestershire at Grace Road, so Leicestershire are going to win that one. Yorkshire made 164 for 7, and Birmingham are already 66 with Outlaws. They need 99 off 12.5 overs. Looks like Warwickshire are favourites in that one. We already know that Northamptonshire Steelbacks have beaten Worcestershire as well in the Blast this evening. So you bang up to date in the North Group as Lloyd bowls. It's clipped down the ground by James to Donald. And they go through for a single. 34-70 for 1. There's just nothing to say, really. Seriously.
They got quiet like the crash.
Yeah, they're tapping it round. Lloyd bowls down the leg side, whipped away, 4 runs, 1 bounce down towards fine leg by Haynes. Looking at the replay, that was a poor ball, and it was probably given what it deserved as he just whipped it away down to fine leg for 4. Haynes, who moves to 37 off 24. Partnership already 72 off 46. 74 for 1, and they need 89 to win. And they've got lots of time to do it in, as this one is. Wood goes back and tries to cut it, pushes it actually off the bottom edge into the leg side. Lloyd fields off his own bowling, and they go through for a single. 75 for 1. So if anybody's got any jokes, just to cheer us up. I'm getting fed up with it. Big Clown says, sadly, it seems that this campaign has a familiar ring to it now. That one is driven out into the offside. Brown does really well because that one bounced up at his chest. They go through for a single. 76 for 1. We keep talking about Derbyshire being better than the results, and I think that I still claim that's true, as this one is played off the back foot out towards Brown. Lots of people pointing. Pat Brown knows it's coming his way, although he is in the dark, so he might not, in fairness. 77 for 1. They just haven't quite got it right yet, and they're running out of time to get it right, as that one is driven out to Pat Brown again, this time by James. 78 for 1 at the end of the 9th over. So just quietly, without taking a single risk, they've got 9 off the over.
Yeah, well, like the Foxes have done, they've obviously taken that winning habit over from 4-day cricket into their Blast campaign, and it's hard because we were hoping to do the same, but hasn't started as well, and you sort of all of a sudden start to ask questions about what's happening in close games, like you said. But yeah,
just winning becomes a habit. Whichever format it is, it just becomes a habit.
Yeah, 100%. We had such a good start to the season, obviously. So yeah, it's always hard when you change formats and there's only a few days between. And if you win that close game, you snowball on from the winning of the 4-day games to the T20s, like Leicester have done. Really, they've shown the way this first chunk of the season.
Here's Pat Brown back, bowling from the city end to Lyndon James, who crashes the first ball of the over out towards the cover boundary. It's fielded out there by a right arm thrower. Nick Potts, probably. I'm surprised to see Pottsy out there. It's usually Ross Whiteley out there, but he's inside the circle, presumably because they want to conserve his energy for bowling. Of course, Nick Potts can't bowl because he's a substitute fielder. The fine legs coming up to the edge of the circle now. I didn't see anybody go out though.
I think third man. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And comes Brown. It's a slower ball outside the off stump.
Which one was it?
I think he was running the fingers over the seam, but I wouldn't swear to it.
Well, it can be an off cut or a leg cutter. So
Off. I'm going off.
okay.
Yeah.
We'll take that.
Yeah. But I don't really know.
But you were right about Lincoln Park, Dave. It is a female singer.
Yes.
Emily Armstrong, yeah.
That's right. That's right. Very good she is too. Here comes Brown and bowls, and that one is lifted out towards the offside. There is a chase on here for Potts, and he can't
Nice
get there.
shot.
And it's 4 runs to Haynes, who moves to 43.
They seem to be hitting the ball really nicely, though. Whether it's for a single or two or a boundary, really nicely.
Yeah, it hasn't been too high risk. It's just been good timing, really. Shows that the wicket's still nice. Usually under lights, obviously, you get a little bit of dew on the ball and it skids on. That's hence why a lot of teams bat second in a T20 game under lights. It's got a little bit darker now, so it might just be coming onto the bat a little bit.
Samit said he would have bowled first. There's going to be a catch here. There we go. Pat Brown's got one. The ball just looped up towards mid-off. And out goes Haynes for 43. A little glimmer of hope for Derbyshire here as the catch was taken by Wayne Madsen. They're 83 for 2 as they get their second wicket, Derbyshire, in the 10th over. And they've got one end opened up.
Yeah, as we saw with our innings, it was hard to start. So hoping the same thing happens to them. We can keep taking wickets throughout.
Momentum.
Yeah.
Momentum, Dave.
We're going with that.
We are going with that, yeah. We need to go with something.
Well, there is that. 39 off 28 deliveries for Jack Haynes, I beg his pardon.
I know we talked about momentum, but if we pick another one up here, then
Yeah.
easier said than done, but it can soon turn within the space of 2-3 overs.
Yeah.
Love to hear a Stokey calling Derbyshire we as well. That's proper. That is proper.
Been up here a while now, Dave.
That is true. So Pat Brown's still got 2 balls to go in his second over, 1 for 19 now, 83 for 2, and Tom Moores is coming ahead of Freddie McCann, who was next down on my list, but the coach's son is out there. Left-hander, of course, and Brown is in to bowl to him, and he plays that straight into the ground. Lands no more than 6 inches away from his front foot, and Brown turns and jogs back to his mark. I've received an email. I can't say how I've received it because we're not allowed to anymore, but I have received an email.
Oh no.
No, it's okay.
Do you know how to use email, Dave? Can you use email?
Oh, stop it. There's an interesting story behind that, which I can't go into here on air. Other than the commentary and the entertaining summarisers, I don't know who it's from. Here comes Pat Brown in bowls to Moores. This almost lifts it to Wayne Madsen again. On the bounce, he turns and throws it at the stumps, but they get through for a single.
Starting to feel like a Google review.
Yes, it is. Well, it's a bit like that. Yeah, it's a bit like that.
You type this into AI, Dave.
I can't use AI. That would be far too bad. Just 6 runs off that over. It's from Ian Crooks, who's a regular contributor. Good to hear from you, Ian. Apart from that and the summarisers, the only good thing about tonight so far is the sunset over the county ground. He says Derbyshire's T20 campaign has been abject, typified by their dismal batting display tonight. Notts will knock this off with a minimum of fuss, then it's 3 defeats from 3 and already an uphill climb to qualify for the quarter-finals. It is starting to feel a bit like that, I have to say. I genuinely don't see against whom Derbyshire will win a match this season. Fireworks for 5 overs isn't good enough to build a substantive T20 score. Derbyshire need to learn to build a challenging total for the bowlers to defend. Until then, it will continue to be humbled again and again. Blair's not played this season, so he's absolutely...
I think the one Derbyshire player that's not lost this season.
Yes.
The boys, some have lost the two, so I'm just sitting here quietly.
Yeah, absolutely. Gazanfar to bowl over number 11 this time, or again from the race course. Endemores turns that one into the leg side. Yours sincerely, he says. Thank you, Ian. Good to hear from you. As always.
You never know, you take it back into the campaign, you take a few wins into the finals, you never know. You just have to get there first.
Yes, well, Derbyshire got 9 wins a few years ago and ended up with an away quarter-final, which seemed a bit harsh as Gazanfar bowls. That one's crashed away into the offside. Now then, is this going to get to the boundary? Oh, it is. He couldn't quite get there in time. He threw himself, did Nick Potts, towards the ball and got 2 hands to it. It seemed to me from this distance. I'll have another look at the replay here. It was out towards the groundsman's hut. It sort of went past it. Potsy there. And 4 more runs, 88 for 2. Gazanfar is... I think he'd let go of that one, What was that? It's played into the leg side. There's no run. Yeah, it was a ball. I didn't think he'd let go, but it was really flat. No air at all. 88 for 2. They're only just in front of Derbyshire still, but Derbyshire were 5 down at this point, and that's the key. That one's been pulled into the leg side. Pat Brown gets around, fumbles it slightly, which is not a surprise out on that outfield out there, and they go
No ball.
back for 2. Oh, it's a no ball, a free hit. What's going on here? Gazanfar can't believe it. That will be a free hit. I'd like to see a replay of that. But a no ball and a free hit, that is not ideal from your mystery spinner. Neil Pratt signals the free hit. We won't be able to see a replay before he delivers this one. Clearly, he's on his way in now to Moores. Free hit, swings at it and doesn't go where he wanted it to. It's gone out towards long. No. Is that Nyron Donald? It is. It's gone through his legs. It's gone for 4, and that is slightly disappointing. He got down straight through the legs.
I'm not sure he got down.
No, he didn't get down enough, did he? He didn't get down enough. It's gone for 4. It's just what Gazanfar needed, really, isn't it? A no ball that goes for 4 that shouldn't have gone for 4. 96 for 2 now. They only need 67 to win here, Notts. Because now he didn't let go of that one. Definitely. I didn't think he'd let go of the one before, but he definitely didn't let go of that one. I'm not sure why he didn't let go of that one. Oh, Jonathan, it's 4 a.m. where Jonathan is. He's in China. He's up at 4 a.m. watching T20 cricket. That's mad. That one hits the pad, but going down the leg side. And there's no run. 96 for 2. He's due back in the country next week. He says he's just hoping there's still something to fight for by the time he gets home for his summer break. I'm going to read this out. I mean no disrespect to anybody. Well, thanks once again for the coverage. Great to hear Blair and the soccer player. This one's on leg stuff, turned into the leg side.
David, I did say before we came on air, I take no offence at anything, did I?
It's outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. He's never been a player. Not for a year, anyway. Not for a year. It's John Brayford, the first team coach of Burton Albion, and Blair Tickner from Derbyshire alongside me this evening. That's the end of the over. 96 for 2, so 8 runs off that over, including the 4 off the free hit, which is hugely disappointing. Safe travels anyway, Jonathan. You're coming back from China next week.
Safe travels, Jonathan.
Yeah.
That's from the soccer. There's one.
I hope he comes to a soccer, as he said.
It's not soccer.
Yeah. I wouldn't even dare to say that.
No. First nation to qualify for the World Cup, though, New Zealand.
Are we?
Are we? God dear. Here's Martin Anderson. I'm more on that in a moment. Here's Martin Anderson in to bowl to James, who lifts this into the leg side. It's going to go over Pat Brown's head for 6.
Yeah, well, we get a little bit of a rough deal with Australia, and...
No, you don't.
Well,
I see you're an absolute patriot then, Blair.
Oh, I know Chris would.
Well,
he's a good mate of mine, actually.
There's a New Zealand footballer who plays 12 miles down the road. He's New Zealand's goalkeeper, number 1, Max Crocombe, born in Auckland.
All the Aucklanders over here.
Here comes Anderson. That one is off the splice and caught again. And that is another catch for the skipper. No, it's not the skipper. It's Caleb Jewell, is it? It could be anybody. I'm going Caleb Jewell. Either way, it's another wicket. Lyndon James goes. He'll be furious because he was going along nicely. 37 James makes. 43 James makes. My laptop's a bit behind. 43 off 28. And we'll wait to see if it was Wayne Madsen again. Did I call Madsen first?
You did.
Yeah, you did.
I named a few.
Yeah. Other than New Zealand goalies. I've got a new favourite football team now anyway, so it's all right.
Who's that?
It seemed to be one of them deliveries again where it's banged into the ground.
Yes. Yeah.
Just a little bit of extra bounce. I don't know if it was slow as well.
It was Wayne Madsen.
We've seen them with this wicket, they've kept mid on and mid off up and just try to bash the wicket as hard as they can to see if it can give us something. So I think that's what they have to do now. Just keep bashing the wicket hard and hopefully we keep taking them.
Aitchison's not really a bang it into the way. He's more of a... red ball cricket, he's just top of off stump, isn't he? So he really does have to do something different, as this one is... it's McCann. Of course it is. Freddie McCann, the new batter, plays that first one out towards the backward point boundary. Well, New Zealand have it easy in football because they only have to win Oceania to get through, and that's basically Tahiti and Tuvalu.
I thought we had to play
Max, though.
I thought we had to play Australia as well.
No, they're
different.
in.
Gone now.
Yeah, they've gone because they wanted better opposition, but it opened it up for New Zealand to get to every single World Cup finals.
Better get my shirt.
Yeah, the white, by the way. Here comes Anderson. That one is going to be 4 runs. Moores pulls it a long, long way in front of square for 4. He moves on to 15, 107 for 3.
There was a World Cup there. We were the only team that didn't lose, I'm pretty sure.
Yes,
That's right.
We've got these questions.
3-0-0s, right? Was it 3-0-0s?
I think there might have been a goal.
We scored
because
one
Shane
against...
Smeltz
Yes,
scored.
I remember
Smeltz is an absolute hero, Halifax Town player, of course. He got me into a Wales-New Zealand game at Wrexham once. Here's Anderson in arm bowls, and that one was swing and a miss from Moores, who thinks about running through for a bye to the keeper, which clearly wouldn't have
I
been
didn't use that because in New Zealand we've got Spates beer and they got caps with questions on it, sport questions. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to know those.
So you can improve your intelligence whilst drinking yourself into oblivion.
The answers slowly get worse and worse and worse.
Here's Anderson in a bowl. That one is an interesting shot because it looked like it stopped on him a bit there, Moores, and he just bunts it up to mid-off, and the over comes to an end. 107 for 3 at the end of the over. See, 11 runs off that one. They need a further 56 to win. Derbyshire are going to have to bowl Notts out here to win this game because the required rate is just 7.
Obviously you play different competitions with the football, but how do you feel when that momentum, you obviously have it in one, you might have it in one competition, then you can't bring it to the other, like, is it a struggle? Because we've struggled a little bit in this competition so far. But
People use it however way they want, just truthfully. If they people have a good cup run, they say, oh, it transfers into the league form.
Yeah.
But then you get knocked out of one cup and people are, well, he does us a favour because we can concentrate on the league now.
There's always another game. There's Lloyd beginning a new over from the racecourse, and a big appeal for leg before wicket. Both of my summarisers gave it out, but yes, I think it might have been.
Let's hope
David Lloyd doesn't pick up a wicket with his first ball of the over. He picked up a wicket with his first ball, full stop, against Leicestershire, I think it was. He's in again now to bowl to McCann, who drives that uppishly towards Wayne Madsen. Half a chance of a run-up, but he can't really throw the ball at the stumps. Yeah, absolutely, something's happening. Richard Gerber's listening from Hamilton in New Zealand.
Yeah, it's a good time now. I think it's 20 past 8. My daughter's up probably.
So he's surrounded by giants as the reverse sweep comes out, and that is out towards what started off as the point boundary, and they go through for a single. 108 for 3. I don't know why you think that. I might have to ask Blair about these because I know about these teams. The Blues There you go. You can hear us now, can't you? Yes, we're on. Welcome back to the stream. Apologies that you weren't with us, because when the power went off, it switches everything off on the boxes we use. But it's going to be a minute or two because James Whittaker doesn't move as quickly as he used to, and he didn't used to move very quickly in the first place, the match referee, when he was a player. So he has to get off the field. And Samit's had time to recover from his calf injury. So the lights went off at 28 minutes past 9, and at 8 minutes past 10, we're back. We've just done remarkably well to talk for that length of time about darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still reckon you should have been down there. You could have
Stayed down there.
talked to the umpires.
Yeah. I could have stayed down there. Wayne Madsen speaking to David Lloyd. Who have we got down there? I can't tell.
So we have Lloyd, and then Pat Brown looks like he's warming up on the side, and then it will be hopefully into the last over.
And then we see where we go from there. The two batters at the moment are Freddie McCann. McCann has 2 from 4. And Tom Moores, who has 15 from 12. Crowd has thinned out appreciably. There's still a committee meeting going on down there. David Lloyd, Caleb Jewell and Wayne Madsen involved in that. I think Neil Pratt wants them to get on with it, really, just in case the lights go off again. It still seems very dark in the city to me. Away in the distance, I don't think all the lights are back on in Derby city centre. That is pitch black out there, and it's not normally that dark. It is dark, isn't it? Anyway, David Lloyd, halfway through his second over. He's going to be bowling to Tom Moores. He's in around the wicket. Moores is beaten.
That would have been the... Come on. Come on. A few of those. It just missed the off stump.
Didn't miss it by much, did it? 108 for 3. Next delivery.
Get on it.
Turned into the leg side. Caleb Jewell shies at the stumps and misses. And they pick up a single, and now they need 11 from 13. But it's down almost to a run of ball. They might have to close in at some point in the near future. McCann back on strike. Moore's up to 16. I think it's slightly favoured Derbyshire, this floodlight delay, as Lloyd is in once again. Bowls, a reverse sweep comes out, and he's going to get 4 for it. He didn't get the connection he was looking for, but he will get 4, McCann. And now there's complaints between Wayne Madsen and David Lloyd about something, I know not what, but they need 7 off 12, Nottinghamshire, and it's back in their favour once again. Lloyd looks a little disappointed, I think it's fair to say, and it's going to be Pat Brown. We're in a situation here that George Scrimshaw was in against Lancashire, but slightly worse, because he needed to defend 11 off 1 over and managed to do it, with Tim David getting a single off the first ball and watching as Lancashire subsided from the non-strikers end in a very amusing fashion. But what we need here is a maiden over from Pat Brown, and even then Notts would probably still be the favourites after that boundary for McCann, who's moved on to 6. Moores has 16. And it is very dark in the distance. Very dark. I think we're lucky to have the lights on here at the county ground, in all honesty.
Might have to catch a ride home. Bit dark out there.
Yeah, you don't be walking in those dark streets. little bloke like you.
Yeah.
Caleb will drive, won't he?
Oh, yeah, he's an Aussie though, so a little bit dangerous on
Yes,
the
I
road.
can imagine. 12 balls to go. Notts leads 7. And Pat Brown, from the city end, he's on his way in. An oasis of light here at the county ground, and that one is pushed up towards mid-on. They've run the first one quickly. They don't really need to take any chances. 6 off 11.
Probably going to have to bring an extra one in the ring here.
I think so. They've really got to squeeze them here, haven't they? Especially with it being McCann. He's got that boundary in the previous over, but it...
Yeah, mid-wicket's coming up now, so they've only got 4 out behind the wicket.
Pat Brown's got to be so accurate here. He's going to come over the wicket to the left. Hander. So push it across him. We have got a very fine third man.
What's happening?
But it is Mohammed Ghazanfar. Man out on the point boundary. And 2 men on the leg side. One at fine leg, one at deep backward square leg. Everybody else inside the circle. Brown is in to bowl to McCann, who pushes that up to mid-off, and there's no run. Wayne Madsen does the fielding. 6 off 10.
We've got a bit of a crowd here now.
Yeah.
I think everyone that's been around the bar have just stayed, so it's a bit messy now.
They didn't realise the lights had gone off. 10 balls to go, 6 runs required for Notts. Still not panic stations time for the visitors. It look like they're going to make up for last season's defeat here at the county ground. What can Pat Brown do about it? He's in again now. McCann goes for the swing, but he misses, and it's through to Brooke Guest. It's 6 off 9. That is very reminiscent of what happened 2 years ago, 3 years ago now perhaps, when George Scrimshaw bowled. And it was definitely quite like this, but there were 5,500 people in the ground, and nobody made a sound. It was remarkable. The atmosphere was incredible. There were some youngsters on the far side of the ground who'd been allowed to stay up late.
That's past my bedtime as well, actually.
You know what? I'm starting to feel a bit sleepy. Here he comes again then, Brown. 6 off 9. McCann on strike. He's got 6 off 7. Brown is in. Bowls. That is driven straight up to mid-off. There's going to be a shot at the stop. This is by a fraction. Martin Anderson, if he'd have hit there, McCann was in all sorts of trouble, but they now need 5 off 8. That didn't miss by much. Zanfar's got his cap off down there. He can't believe it.
Everyone was tight on one. We've got 2 points and the extra cover all tight on the one.
He'd have gone. He was gone.
Yeah.
He was gone.
Still, if we can take it to the last over, you never know.
You don't. You have a pretty shrewd idea, but you don't know. At the moment, they're about 10 in front of Duckworth Lewis. The numbers that matter are that Nottinghamshire need 5 runs from the last 8 deliveries of this T20, and Derbyshire are taking their time now as Martin Anderson looks like he's going back at long on to the boundary. There is a single on the leg. He's not going to bowl on the leg. If he bowls on the leg stump now, he wants shooting. Because everybody's on the offside. Comes Gazanfar. So we've got short third man, backward point, extra cover, mid-off on the circle.
Slow ball, I'd say.
Brown is in, and that one's been heaved into the leg side for a 1-bounce 4. And the scores are effectively level with 1 ball of Pat Brown's over to go. It wasn't far away from the man.
No, he didn't pick it up, I don't think, down there.
No, it's Nye Donald down at long leg as he banged it in short. He's whipped it around the corner, and it's not Donald at all, is it? It's Caleb Jewell, I beg your pardon. Couldn't get round to it.
Everyone coming up now.
That's one to discuss in the car on the way home. 1 from 7 then, scores level. Derbyshire, the best they can hope for is a tie. It would be remarkable if they tied from this point, because they only need a single, and everybody is inside the circle. Lots of fielders moving around. I mean, it's basically pot luck, isn't it? An edge, and they've won. Unless it goes to our short third man, who is Mohammed Gazanfar, and even then I wouldn't back him. It looks like he's just stretching out his back. He might have stiffened up during that lengthy break. Here he comes, Pat Brown then. 1 ball required for Notts. He bowls it, and it's down the leg side. It's signalled wide, and Notts win with an over to spare, and a very anticlimactic way for any game to finish. The Outlaws win this one by 7 wickets under the Duckworth-Lewis Stern method. We got back out after a very, very long delay, 45 minutes worth of delay. And unfortunately, although the numbers favoured Derbyshire a little bit, it was always going to be tough, wasn't it? If you're defending 12 runs off 15 balls, the team who need 12, they're favourites.
Yeah.
Especially with...
Obviously, we were going to try to take 1 or 2 wickets, and then we were going to go out the back and try to cut the power again, get in front of the Duckworth Lewis. So that was the plan up here, but just didn't come off.
It didn't. Listen, boys, it's been brilliant. Thank you, Blair.
Thanks.
Next time, I hope the next time we see you is out on a cricket pitch, in all honesty.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
But you never know. John Brayford, thanks, mate.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
It's been brilliant.
It's been good.
As ever. So if we can bring Ed back in somehow, I'm not entirely sure how we're going to do this, if I'm honest. Oh,
I'm here. Hello.
there he is.
So, from here, we will go to Edgbaston, is it? Sunday?
Edgbaston on Sunday, Durham next Wednesday, and then Trent Bridge a week tonight. So 3 away games in a row for Derbyshire now, who are 0-3, and our experts have decided they've had enough, and they're off. And yeah, so 0-3. I'm just seeing if the, which it usually does quite quickly, the what's it called? Table. That's the word I'm groping for here. If the table is updated in any way, but what will happen, because the other games have finished already this evening in the North Group in the Vitality Blast. Notts Outlaws moved to 2-1, so they're on 8 points. But the teams at the top, the Steelbacks, 4 out of 4, 16 points to them. Lancashire have got 3 wins from 4 matches, they're on 12. Leicestershire with 3 wins from 4 are also on 12. Worcestershire picked up their first win tonight. Durham are on 4 points along with Worcestershire. The Bears are on 4 points. Notts are now on 8 points, so they'll move up to 3rd place in the table. And Derbyshire and Yorkshire, the 2 teams who've played 3 and lost 3, at the bottom of the table.
Disappointing, Dave. What a strange end to the much hyped East Midlands derby here at the county ground this evening, and Nottinghamshire winning by 7 wickets. Much improvement needed on Sunday.